Futures back in positive territory to start things off. Brand new week as we head towards the Fed meeting coming up this week. We also get more key earnings. Apple, Amazon to come. Strength from Tesla this morning to the upside in a pretty big way. China removing restrictions on Tesla vehicles surrounding data, basically clearing the way for FSD potentially in that country. So a nice look for Tesla to start things off this morning. But yeah, all eyes on not necessarily what's going to come with the Fed decision, but any indication of what will happen for the remainder of the year that we'll get throughout the week. This week going to be key for the overall market going forward. But I was just having a look at the rest of EV land this morning. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
Happy
How was
Monday.
your weekend?
Good. How was yours?
Not too bad. A lot of food. But yeah, to build on your point, Brendo, really interesting look here from Tesla on the day. They get the nod from the regulator. Elon met the premier there in China. There had been a lot of different local restrictions on how FSD could be rolled out. We saw XPeng with their FSD a while ago. So great look here. You have the likes of Li Auto, XPEV, and Neo all up on this news.
Yeah, I was just looking. I mean, 4%, 5%, 6%, basically across the board for electric vehicles this morning. Again, China basically removing a restriction off Tesla vehicles in that country, essentially opening the door for data to go both ways, back and forth to and from cars, freeing the path for full self-driving. So yeah, great move for Tesla to start things off, coming off what happened at the end of the week last week. A few other things moving around here. Apple up on the morning. Palantir positive once again, 2 days in a row to kick things off for Palantir as well. So lots to look forward to coming up this week, guys, with Apple to report, Amazon to report. Oh, yeah. More big earnings as well.
And Amazon gapped up overnight. I was telling Neil, I was trying to chart this thing yesterday, and on Blue Ocean was up like $1.50 from the Friday close. I couldn't understand why. So we'll have to keep eyes on that one.
The grocery delivery maybe starting to play. No, I mean, Amazon's so strong. Happy Monday, guys.
No, Amazon doesn't need reasons to be up.
Monday.
I mean, come on. Yeah, happy Monday, everybody. Tesla? Like, are you kidding me?
It's a happy Monday for Tesla. That's
The only thing stronger than Tesla is the sound off the bat of Shohei Ohtani when he's basically punking every single Toronto fan of all time. He's a freak, the Leafs suck, and Tesla's fantastic. I think that is the best way to think about things. But with a huge week, I mean, we talk about earnings being big last week, and then we get Amazon, AMD, SMCI, Apple. I mean, it's going to be a big one. SoFi this morning. Come on, SoFi. Anyway, SoFi, it was up, now it's down, but there's so much to look at. And the biggest thing to me is, whoops, I'm in SoFi.
You're in SoFi.
Punch out flat.
Okay, punch
I'm
out.
like, that was the wrong stock.
Punch out.
I want a bit of different stock, and not that one.
Quick,
But
quick punch out.
well, in and out flat. We're gonna pay some
yeah,
fees there. But the story this week, you don't want to forget about the big earnings and moves from last week. It's gonna be easy to get distracted, but you got to remember how big Google was in play, how big Meta was in play, and then those can be some continuations. And don't forget how absurd Nvidia was on Friday. So Nvidia's got to be out there because it made that gigantic move. It's easy to forget about those things when you see Tesla up double digits.
Yeah. And I just want to say a shout out to, here, where's my good friend here? I just saw, where is it? Somebody in the chat here said, oh, here it is, YZ. Here we go, Sean will short Tesla. Well, Sean's long Tesla right now. And I've already been long at 190, but it did fail 190. So we got in and out there at 190. We just bought a little dip here. The 50 period's right now at 188, so we're going to try to see if 188 can hold. We just tried to bid down there 188 flats, and it came within a few pennies, but missed it. So now we'll wait. Tesla, yeah, huge. Want to stay long this name and be long it as much as we can today, but up 12%. I mean, we were saying that, like, who would have thought after earnings that this big, huge name would be, you know, the winner of them all. I mean, from 140 is where we reported, up to 190 right now. Obviously, this news has nothing to do with earnings, but great news back there in China as Tesla continues to work. We're out of the money. We're long at 189.70 right now. Let's let this one work out. I don't have any offers. Looking to see if it takes 192. I think that's a punch long as well up there at some point. So up 12 and a bit percent. I'm not sure it stops.
Lots to talk about with big tech across the board this week. Here's Apple up significantly in the pre-market as well. Bernstein with an upgrade this morning, going to outperform on Apple ahead of their earnings report coming up later in the week. So Apple moving around. I mean, here's Google. Everyone remembers what happened back on Thursday after the close. Friday ends up being a bit of a non-event. We just sold off and then kind of went sideways for the rest of the day, but might be just a continuation move here. A bit of a grind downside.
Yeah, a quick breather, Brendo, after making all-time highs there on Google. So good look for them. Apple also discussing a possible collaboration here with OpenAI. They want to include some of the features that OpenAI has launched with their new ChatGPT service on the new iteration of the iPhone, or so it is being reported. So a good look there. And as Brendo mentioned, Bernstein giving Apple the nod with a 195 price target, though. So below that 200 level that we've been looking at for the past few months. So we'll have to keep eyes on that, up nicely in the pre-market, though.
Yeah, big moves for big tech early on. Here's another one moving around this morning. SoFi, it's down a little bit on the week, but if you zoom in a little bit, they report in the pre-market this morning. Hasn't really done anything directionally speaking. I mean, we test 8.5, we test 7.5, and now we're kind of back in the range. But SoFi earnings, fan favorite as well, guys.
Fan favorite. That's a fan favorite because everyone's into them, or at least a lot of people on our program are into them. But we famously were looking at this one a quarter ago relative to Robinhood, and at the time they were very similar. And some things have changed. Robinhood went up. SoFi did absolutely nothing for the last 4 months. I mean, okay, fine. There was a move up, and it's come all the way back in. It's unfortunate. They're down like 3.7%. But I was looking at if you look at their numbers like month over month and quarter over quarter, it's like all phases of the business have slowing growth. So even where there is growth in financial services, it's like it's slowing the pace of that growth. And as a matter of fact, they have declines in lending. So yeah, the trend, I hate to say it, as a shareholder, doesn't look the best for SoFi. That said, sometimes when it gaps up, the stock gives it up. So today, if it's going to do that the opposite of what you think, the $7 level looks like it. I mean, it's been support for quite some time. I kind of feel like if we get down there, that's your Alamo or your line in the sand, or for lack of a better word.
Beating 1 cent a share, better than minus
Well,
5.
because they closed. A Gardner.
Okay. Oh man, 760. It just doesn't look super good here for SoFi, unfortunately. I said the same thing as soon as I came in. I saw it on our watch list, and I said, "Oh God, they're not going to be happy with SoFi because it was down." It started the day half decent, nice move up into 850, and then just a fade, fade, fade. So for me, SoFi, yeah, I mean, back into this level, 750, 755. I think you want to buy it if we can, but I mean, off the open, it's going to be pretty volatile. I just kind of like this area down here. I don't want to get it. I mean, if it gets to 7, then you're down like 10+%. So I don't know if we get that low, but I don't know if I'm going to be trading SoFi today. But probably a good swing long if you can get down here. Let the earnings and everybody figure it out. Comes back into $7, possible buy back to 8.50 if things go well. I mean, I think the days of us thinking that SoFi is going to moon again might be over for now. So let's. I'm going to be patient with SoFi, but yeah, I mean, now that I'm looking at it, 14 million shares. I mean, that's nice. Normally you would fade it back up to VWAP, but I kind of want to go long the name. I was going to say like shorting it into 790 is good if you like to play short. I think with the NASDAQ up 0.3, the ES up 0.2, I'm feeling good vibes today. I kind of feel long, so I don't know. I'd rather go long SoFi. So let's see how close to 7 we can get and if we can pull the trigger down there.
Huh. We're just talking about DPZ here. I just noticed Domino's up monstrous here this morning. This thing's $500. Crazy.
Jeez.
Just double checking. Is there earnings call on? Yeah, there's some. Yeah, there is. Okay, so that makes more sense. There's some comments coming through here. It's very thinly traded, but up nicely here to 530, 545 coming off their report here. Q1 same-store sales beating estimates, surpasses sales expectations on promotions, forecast topping as well. So yeah, huge.
Yeah, it's a good look. I mean, who can complain about this? Earnings climbed 20%. That's your take-home money. Revenue rose also 6%, over $1 billion now. They're printing on the quarter. Same-store sales, which are the stores that were opened more than a year ago, 5.6% growth, and they're looking at revamping some of their menu items here, Brendo. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
What's your go-to pizza place?
Extra cheese, extra pepperoni. Super simple.
Domino's?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Okay. There's a place on, it's actually just off of Queen, but north of Brooklyn, Queen West in Toronto.
How about you?
That's the same.
Same thing?
Same.
Nice.
Nice looking day to start here, guys, for Domino's.
Yeah, I mean, our go-to since COVID was like making.
Brendan doesn't get extra cheese on it.
But extra cheese. I'm the other way. I'm like
Less cheese?
I'm like a little bit less cheese, but I want more sauce. Like I'm a sauce guy. Like I love the sauce.
Okay.
So like that's kind of the way I.
I see. That's funny because I order less sauce. That's so crazy. That's funny how
Everybody
that works.
get the pie how you want.
Yeah,
with some exceptions, obviously.
Yeah.
Some things.
As long as it has pineapple on it. We've discussed this a couple of times.
Did I tell you, Neri?
I just saw a couple minutes ago. Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is he did it just to do. Like a friend of mine, we went
He did it 'cause he likes
We went to the Jays game on Friday, and we went out to like Boston Pizza before, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get pineapple on my pizza." And he looked at me when he ordered it. Like, okay, whatever. Like, do your thing. But he did it just to egg me on. Basically.
Yeah. Plus, he likes it. He likes it.
Yeah.
He does like it.
So he says.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, so a lot of people say.
But Domino's is
No,
great.
Domino's is, I mean, that story continues to be amazing. To me, the story that works, we've talked about this, you know, on earnings when Chipotle was near that 3,000, I didn't even know, this was before the earnings call. I was just like, Chipotle's taking out that 3,000, and then it's gone because we still have a June 14th or something vote for the split, which will be approved. And then I think it was 250 to 1 or something, bringing this name way back in. So options will be able to play it. It'll be amazing to trade, I feel like. I mean, maybe it won't be. I don't know about the volume. We have Starbucks, I believe, reporting this week. So, you know, with Domino's Pizza, McDonald's also coming through. I think Starbucks has been beat up a little bit there to the downside with obvious China worries. We're now getting some of that back in with Tesla seeming to be flying on good China stories. Apple obviously beat up on China as well. This is just another one of those names that I think can report well. You're going to get Domino's reporting well, Chipotle reporting well. I think Starbucks can, following McDonald's, which is, I think, tomorrow or something. So we have a couple good reports coming through. I like Starbucks down here. I just think it would be nicer to get it a little lower, but nice little whoosh up here for Starbucks. No volume today, but a name to keep on radar heading into this week.
I think it was June was the is a
that was the
investor
release
meeting
date.
coming up in June. Let me know when our guest is with us, guys, and we can. We're going to have Andy Lindoff from Trade Ideas come through this morning. Michael Noss had a doctor's appointment with his newborn, so taking the morning off. But he'll be back with us not only this afternoon, but later in the week as well. So Andy's going to jump on and touch on a few things. We're going to talk about Chinese ADRs with Andy as well. We were discussing this a little bit at the end of last week, how strong these have been quietly. You know, there hasn't really been a lot in the way of a reason why, but a huge bounce back over the past few weeks here. I mean, EV's excluded from that. Separate catalyst for them this morning, but the Alibabas of the world having a nice month.
Alibaba up in the pre-market. The one that I've got my attention on today is Baidu, Brendo, because they have a deal with Tesla. They're going to give a lot of Tesla. They're going to give a lot of their navigation software and data to Tesla for their full self-driving, and it's up decidedly on the morning, over 5% here, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. The mapping software, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you and I were talking about this on the weekend on the podcast, Tesla's full self-drive angle. Here's maybe the start, the test that everyone's been waiting for, the software side anyways, for, I mean, this is JD.com, but for Tesla anyways.
Yeah, I was looking at AMD here, trying to think about that long. Yeah, look, I mean, Tesla, I think we've liked the story. You know, earnings were bad, and I feel like we had discussed this already, and a lot of us already know that the EV market's been pretty weak as of late. But then Elon actually came and delivered the goods one more time. He told everybody that this is an AI play. This is, if you believe in the electrification, that's one thing. The second thing is everything else that they're working on. So right now, you know, we had seen that they'd licensed out their fully self-drive. Actually, this was one of the catalysts that I was saying for Tesla, was the fact that they're going to be able to license out all of their information. So that's not going to be happening in China. It's going to be huge. They have the robo-taxi. I think it's going to be a couple years away. We'll see how that goes, whether or not that's a huge success story. Will be, named to be seen. But again, China, India, hey, what's up, man? All these new markets, if they can get, Neil, a lower model, more reasonably priced.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, I just think everybody's waiting for that. I just think that's what everyone's waiting for. Then you add in Optimus, you add in everything that Elon's doing, and he's now potentially going to win some part of this AI war again. So, I mean, yeah, I like Tesla.
You think about like the one place, like everywhere else in the world, they're leading in terms of getting data, vehicles on the road, and being able to get that data and being able to use it to get your automated driving where you want to. And then China's going to be that one place where they needed to make this step. So it's a huge piece. It's huge for them. And the truth is, I mean, you've heard lots of analysts always say about how, oh, its valuation's too high for a car company. Well, if you've been a believer in Tesla, then you've always believed that it was more than just a car company, because that's the only way you've ever justified the valuation they have. But Baidu, on the other hand, Baidu's up 5% on this, and I'm a little bit, unless this gets through like 110, like my gut would tell me, hey, are we just getting a little bit too much Tesla sympathy here? So if it can't get through the 110 level, that's just a bad dark pool like up there. So ignore the fact that's the high of the day. But you have a gap up, and we've seen this story before where Chinese ADR gaps up, and then there's no buyers come the open. And it's already starting to fall a little bit here. So I'm a little bit skeptical that I want to buy this one at highs. But if it's breaking out 110 on the daily, that looks really good. So it'll be on the radar. I still feel like, the trading vehicle for us has been Alibaba in the Chinese ADR space. It's flat today, which I'd say is a little bit of a disappointment, but Baba made the run right into what looks like some resistance at the 77, 78 area. So it did that on Friday, probably due for some consolidation. It did a pullback with that bounce off 75. If it can hold 75, I think that's going to be great. But Baba did that run last week where every day was a long, but it got all the way to the top, essentially, at 77, 78.
All right,
All right, there he is. Andy Lindoff with us, as mentioned, from Trade Ideas, sitting in for Michael Noss this morning. We appreciate you jumping on this morning.
You're
Andy,
welcome.
good to see you. Let's talk about China here. There's been so much action and focus around big tech going through last week's earnings, more coming up this week. From a technical standpoint, though, some of these ADRs have been holding up pretty well here in a pretty sideways kind of choppy market.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Michael and all the other traders here will tell you how much I love trading China, because when these things get going, I mean, you can really get some nice returns on these. We're talking, 40, 50% in a week or two is not out of the question. So I love when they get going to be in the names. And we can talk about a few of the names coming up here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's break down from a technical standpoint. Tell us a little bit about how you approach narrowing down your focus specifically with some of these Chinese ADRs, and what it is you're looking for from a chart standpoint with each individual one here.
Well, yeah, I'm a big trend line. I love trend lines, and when they break the trend line, like a downward sloping trend line, especially in like a flag pattern or a wedge pattern, I'm really big on being in those. And the charts coming up will show you when you take a look at KWeb and FXI and some of the moves they had last week. And there's a couple that may be lagging. You guys have touched on a few. I think Alibaba and Baidu have really been lagging this sector, and there could be some really nice moves coming forward. We'll talk about those in here in a minute.
Sure. All right. Yeah. You mentioned FXI here from a daily standpoint. Explain maybe to everyone, this obviously representing a group of individual companies. So what are you saying?
Exactly. It represents the large caps. And if you take a look at the weekly here in FXI, and basically what I noticed back in January, there were massive inflows into the Chinese equity funds. As a matter of fact, I think it was the largest inflow since 2015. And you can see the volume down there at the bottom where I have the blue arrow. And that caught my attention. And since that time, I've been in and out of a lot of these China plays. I'm more of a swing trader now. I did my day trading thing for 15 years, got too old for that. But That caught my eye, and since that time, I've really been focusing in on a lot of China's, and I think we may just be the start of something big here coming up.
All right. K-Web, tell us about that one.
Yeah, K-Web is basically your internet, Chinese internet ETF. It's the one that's going to have a big uh, weighting in Baidu, Alibaba, NetEase. PDD is one of my favorite. I think PDD could be off to the races here really soon. But yeah, it's just an easy way to play the China internet if you don't want to risk, being in one particular stock.
Yeah, massive move over, I mean, going into the beginning of this year for a lot of these, but you just mentioned PDD was one that has done very well since last summer.
Yeah, and what I like about PDD, and you're going to see on the next slide as well in NTES, is look how they held their weekly trend line. So even though the China internet's really getting pretty much destroyed, the first few months of the year, these things held their weekly trend line. And that to me is very important because it kind of gives you a level, if you're going to swing trade these things, of where you want to be out. You can just play off that trend line there. And so a couple of good ones to keep an eye on for sure.
Is there one or two maybe that, if you had to break down from a list standpoint, if you will, which ones are catching your eyes as far as an opportunity here this week?
Well, there's been some, the ones that really been outperforming are TCOM. Now, I think that may be looking at a pullback possibly coming up, but there's definitely one I'm going to be watching in that. PDD, I really have my eyes on that one. Now that one gets kind of tricky to trade. It seems like these things will open up in our markets and get hit, but I just look at that as an advantage being a swing trader where I can pick these things up on the cheap when they're getting hit over here when the ADRs open up in our market. But definitely PDD, and once again, I'm actually in PDD. I'm in Alibaba. I'm in Baidu. I think Alibaba has the biggest potential for a move coming up.
Do we get, I was going to double check here, we get earnings coming up, I think, fairly shortly for a few of these anyways. But Alibaba, maybe even if you zoom out far enough, you have a weekly chart here, maybe even with the most room to run here. What are your thoughts?
Here's my thoughts on Alibaba. I mean, I really believe, now you're right. In a couple of weeks, you got Alibaba and Baidu coming up with earnings. Now, both of these things are trading at a single digit PE right now, forward PE. And so I think there's probably some forgiveness even if they miss. But Alibaba, the level I'm really watching, and I'm in a little bit this right now, but if it gets above 78.30, it's going to be breaking into a 5-month high. It's going to be breaking a pivot line. You can see there on that chart. And it's also going to be breaking that downward sloping trend line. So you got 3 technicals right there that can really spark a move if it gets above that 78.30 level.
Still fairly sideways, since the beginning of 2024. But yeah, maybe a little more focus coming into them. We mentioned there's this Tesla headline for Baidu out this morning, always going to be positive anytime you get mentioned with Tesla.
I agree. And like I said, I've been nibbling on this. Of course, it's in a downtrend. I don't take full size when it's something like this, but with the move we've seen in China internets, I couldn't help but tip my toe in Baidu. Now, you're right. It's gapping up right there. Looks like to me it's probably going to gap up to that trend line. So I would need to see a breakthrough there for me to add to my position. But once again, I think the risk reward in Alibaba and Baidu are really attractive in my opinion.
Andy, are you approaching these from a, pick some more up on the close? I know Michael Noss is a very strong proponent of waiting to see how the candle actually closes at the end of the day.
Yeah, good point. Me, no, I still kind of use a little bit of my day trading experience, and if I see it's like PDD opened up the other day, a huge gap up, and it got killed on the open. And being a swing trader, if I see something like that in a stock that I want to be in going forward, yes, I have no problem, picking up some during the midday or whenever.
Talk us through your scan here, your watch list for these Chinese ADRs.
Yeah, if you'd pull that up, this is something, and I think everybody should do right now is make a watch list of China stocks, and it's really easy to do. You can just Google, a list of China stocks, and you're going to find lots of them, and just, drop them in a watch list. And I like to use that score. This is something that I created along with Michael Noss, and it's basically just stock composite rating using a bunch of technical metrics and a few fundamental metrics. So you can see those names at the top. They're the ones that's been outperforming, and those are the ones that I kind of focus on for momentum. So there's a lot of good names that are looking good with a really high score there. So, but I think it's important to, when you have a sector that's looking like it's about to break out, to really keep them in focus by creating a watch list and keeping it on your monitor somewhere for sure.
Yeah, from a visual standpoint, gives you that quick reference of where things are standing as far as relative strength for each of these. Great stuff. Andy Lindoff sitting in for Michael Noss this morning. We appreciate your time. Thanks for jumping on.
All right, thank you, Brendan. Appreciate it.
Thank you for sure there, Andy. And hey, I do like the fact, pointing out that Baba's a bit of a deal. I like that 78 level on Baba. We've been sort of saying sometimes it's better to allow the stock to move instead of trying to guess where the bottom is going to be. Let it show you the trend reversal. I think once it breaks out this 78, maybe even get a close above the 200 pre-moving average, I think it's going to be spicy. The issue with it, of course, was Friday was the first day that it wasn't just a pretty clean upward move if you bought the dip at the open. Like, you had to wait around a little bit. So I think you got to be cautious, specifically with Alibaba today, because if it doesn't hold to 75, I like 73.5, 74 down in there, and we'll probably have to wait around for something like that. So it was a bit of a disappointment to end the week, but even if you had the dip in the previous close, like, there were longs to be had and buyers on almost every single dip for Alibaba. Pinduoduo feels like it's already gone a little bit here, but last week Baba, it just kept on giving you opportunities. I don't think we had a losing long on it, and we didn't even trade it the first couple of days of the week when we noticed that pattern. So with any luck, this can finally break that 78 level, and then it's just another phase to the upside. They report on the 16th, so we get them mid-month next month.
Yeah, I have Alibaba. The sticky note will almost be out. It's going to be on there as well. Tesla right now is rocking over $1 right now to the upside as well. Go green finally on Tesla here. Now up $1. But yeah, no, Alibaba, look, we've been buying that name. We've been talking about this. We've been buying this name in our long-term account now for a little bit, couple months now, down near that $70, $71 mark. We've been talking about that level holding, goes all the way back into February. We did have that dip buy. We did not buy any there, but we're long, 71.80, something like that. And I want to buy this dip into 75, 74 and change. Let's see where we go. But for right now, we're all about Tesla, and I'm going to get this sticky note down in 1 minute.
Lots of nice names here on this earnings board to talk about. Apple, chief among them, getting this upgrade from Bernstein ahead of its earnings on Thursday from market performed to outperform. So nice look here. Apple also having some AI news potentially in discussions with OpenAI, so nice look there. We also have Roku getting an upgrade from Seaport Research after its earnings last week. Shopify trading up almost 4% here after this upgrade from Citigroup, and Stifel upgrading AT&T. Downgrade, Lululemon kicking off the list here with a downgrade from Barclays. Jefferies Financial downgrading Southwest. Wells Fargo downgrading Schlumberger, and last but not least, Barclays giving Ulta Beauty a downgrade here to end the list today, guys.
Interesting Roku with that upgrade, because the reaction to earnings was anything but positive. It was like a trap everybody kind of moment if you bought it in the aftermarket, and then flush City on Friday after it settled down, bouncing off the 56 level, but we sort of mentioned this as a potential flat bottom break. If it can hold on to 56, I think it's a great support area for Roku. Obviously, breaks actually don't happen unless it gets above, in the case of upside, or below that particular price. So we'll be looking at Roku, and we sort of said that. I really, really do prefer to see when stocks get to levels like this, if you feel the bigger move is in one direction, to sort of wait for that. So with the pressure on Roku, when I think the trapped earnings, I just feel it's a little bit bigger of an opportunity if it breaks the low. Support level like that holds, I'm probably not going to trade it. I'd be looking for the flat bottom break here on Roku. Upgrade or not, doesn't really matter to me. It's just about the potential for that level break on the daily.
We'll talk a lot about Apple as well, but one name that we looked at last week that I liked at that $70 level, which is now gone, is Shopify. It was on the sticky note down there as a day trade, but it's turned out to be a great level to hold and support. Nice little smiley face to the upside here. Good name, Shopify, up to $74, $75 again. Wouldn't surprise me if we get going. When do they report? Let me check my trade ideas. Make sure you get trade ideas through Trader TV. Hit Trader TV 20. You can see right there. All right, I wanted to look up Shopify. When do they report? So let me just quickly check this out. Okay, you can't type it in there. You actually have to go like this. Shop, OP, nope. Shop, May 8th. Okay, so we're going to be later next week. So Shopify coming through. I feel like this is going to be a good one. Again, nice little smiley face bouncing perfectly off of that 200 period moving average, which did have support down there as well. Wow, that's pretty sweet. Good job if anybody got long on Shopify right there. Here we go. Highest spot of the day coming, hopefully, for Tesla. I do have an offer, and it's at 195. Let's see how high Tesla can get.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here. To start things off on a Monday, Sharif's going to lead us off with a look at the markets.
51.31, guys. That's where we close out on Friday. That takes us to the bottom end of the consolidation low, late Feb, early March. Let's see where the resistance is. That 50-point level has been looking at us in the face all morning. Right above that on the 4-hour, we also have the 200 period. So unless we really break aggressively and hold that 5150, let's say 5100 as support.
We were saying before we came on this morning, potentially a big week here coming up for the market. We're at a key spot on that chart you just saw. And also, I mean, Apple, Amazon, you get the Fed on Wednesday. Lots to consider this morning. If you haven't done so, grab the watch list, absolutely free from us to you every single day. If I zoom in here on the daily chart, it's that little tick way up here. So monster gap this morning, 13.5%, as we were just seeing there with Sean. Skyrocketing, I don't know about that, but according to this story anyways, more than 10%. Now, if you're just joining a little bit late, again, China getting a restriction lifted, or Tesla getting a restriction lifted from Chinese officials on data going to and from their cars, essentially, to their servers. So that's kind of freeing the way or paving the way for FSD over in China.
Yeah, it's a good look here. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how they roll it out. Initially, there were some restrictions, like it was in China, the full self-drive, but you couldn't use it. I think you could just change lanes or something. Now you're going to have the full gamut of options. Really, the holdback here was the data concerns. The Chinese government was worried that Tesla would misuse the data, no longer concerned about that. And also should mention, keep an eye on Baidu. They are going to provide the navigation software for the full self-drive, so they're up on the day as well.
I heard this conversation on the weekend, but give me your thoughts here. What do you think is the biggest opportunity for Tesla going forward? Cars, FSD, robots?
Robots.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want to iron. I know you don't want to iron.
Yeah.
I don't want to cook.
I just think the underlying opportunity, if they can, I mean, there's a lot of hurdles to get over to get this approved and get to a point where the technology is safe and even in North America can be rolled out. But
what do you think?
I think if all that can happen, FSD is by far the biggest opportunity here, and the robo-taxi idea is by far the biggest opportunity here, but there's a lot to get through before that happens.
Yeah, it's hard not to, I agree with that, because if you really think about it, the FSD is something that we can see around the corner. Right? Like obviously, the notion of like a robot helper in everybody's house, you know, if you think in terms of when would that get implemented, I just feel like it's a little bit far out. But in terms of potential, it probably long term would make a ridiculous amount of money for them. I just rather be looking at the FSD as a shareholder myself. But like the thing about Tesla, and we've had this trend line up for a while. So if you look at the last year on Tesla, just pull up the chart, it's made the same high 3 separate times. Each time we've tagged, Fabian, thank you. Each time we've tagged the top of this range, so there's the high we made in July. It tagged it a second time. Since then, you've double bottomed. Each time you got into the bottom or the top, you've retraced the entire way. But it didn't happen in January, but we essentially tagged exactly to the trend line. Just connect those two lows. Now, does it mean that we're headed to $240? I don't know, but I would not be surprised if we are. Today, 205 is where it's at. So if it sees 200 break, 205 is where I think the fade would be. But I looked at it and was like, okay, well, where are you wrong on the long? And I was like, 184. Like I went back and looked at the previous resistance levels and said to myself, okay, well, the 184 level is where I know I'd want to fade. Sorry. where I'd want to be getting out if it faded down that far. So if it can hold on to that, I'm looking for a dip buy. But I wanted something in the mid 80s if I'm going to try it in front of the 184. I think it's got a wide range today, because I don't know if I'd be looking short unless it's over $200 today. And that's a lot. That means a 20% move before I'm looking for a retracement to want to short in Tesla. So I think you gotta, whatever your normal trading range is on Tesla or what your expectations, maybe triple that today. And I think that would be somewhat reasonable. You know, like if you normally trade Tesla with a dollar stop looking for $3 to $5 moves, just maybe at least double that, maybe if not triple that when looking at it today.
All right, look, the number one name here on this sticky note, we're already long. So, I mean, this is already a good little trade for us. We're already $1 and $2 in the money, which my stream deck is not working. So, I mean, it's been a good trade here. We're going to stay long. I feel like we could sit here and talk all, I think this, I think that. But honestly, this is just a trading show. Here's the market, 185. If we got down there, that was a good long. But obviously, we said play through 190 as well. So that's what we did. It went through 190. We played it. We got long. Now it's at 192. I think it's a pretty easy trade. Go find the sticky note for some more notes. But there it is. Now it's 250. $1, $2, $3. We're looking to do that already here to start the day. You know, thank you for watching. Let's see what happens. There's still 20 minutes until this market opens, and we still have another 20 until the imbalances. So 25 till the market, 20 to the imbalances, which could come to sell side. But there we go. We just touched 192 again. We could take that 250 or 230 right now, right there at 192.50 was the high. Let's see if we can now, you know, get there it goes. Break that even more here. So good trade to start the day with Tesla.
All right, more upside here for big tech. Apple included 2.6% on the gap this morning ahead of most important part of this chart. I know it's tough to see, but up there, 3 days we get earnings from Apple. Bernstein with the upgrade going to outperform $195.
Yeah, the Bernstein analyst Tony Sacconaghi upgrading Apple to market for to outperform from market perform. I'll get this right. And $195 price target. He likes the company's endeavor here into AI. They are chatting with OpenAI, adding some features to their new release of the iPhone expected this winter, Brendo. But keep an eye also on May 7th, the iPad launch event, in addition, obviously, to this Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to get a bunch of stuff coming up here in the next few months. It was that last name. I just glanced past the last name. Good job.
All right. Well, Apple, I think pretty soon is going to have a new entrant into the party with, I believe, the Wickens household will probably turn to Apple at some point.
I heard something
right there. Yeah, they all come home. All right, watch out for Apple. Even I did. Apple up 2.5%. I still think we're starting to go higher here. 173. I like the name. It is sticky note idea number 2, and that is just to get the hell long on Apple. And I don't know where dip buys into VWAP. I'll be here for that. We chose Tesla because we woke up choosing violence. But if you're going to choose, you know, peace, I think Apple should give it to you today. Just a little floating around. You want to buy some dips here. Not super exciting in the pre-market. But when the market's only up 0.4 and Apple's up 2.6 and we're ready to rock and roll, I like Apple here. I love the AI talk. I think you want to get long this name. I wrote down 172.50. Just because, to be honest with you, that's kind of where the move started. And then we had some support, I believe, in and around 172, 171.50. Yeah, so, you know, I like this dip buy opportunity. We're going to have to get long somewhere. So 172.50 is where we're going to start the party. I don't think we get that opportunity, so we'll probably have to play a break. But early, I'll be on Tesla. But this break of 174 is also what we wrote down. So we have 2 trades here, and it actually says 2 trades, 172.50 long and 174 break. So those were 2 trades there that I want to look at for Apple. Looks like we're going to get the 174 break long to begin with.
Every single day, Apple's got like if you look at the first 15-minute candle, it's at least $1 every single time. So, you know, I do think there's a good chance to get that pre-market low play. As far as I'm concerned, like the 171 where we closed, sorry, not where we closed, but where we had the tops last week, which was on Friday. As long as it's above that, I love the news here. You have that going for you. The other thing you have going for you is you have a bounce off of a double bottom. I know the 50 period sitting there and all that good stuff, but it's a double bottom on the daily chart that you're recovering from that I think gets to this 178. Like, test this for a third time, 178, and that could easily be today. But if it's in front of 171, I'm only looking longs, and because there's usually been about $1 worth of range, and I mean, that's on the lower end. You've actually seen a little bit more than that every single morning. I think it's very reasonable to get a 172, which is those pre-market lows. These are just overnight dark pool dumps coming off at like Friday prices. So I want the first dip buys off the pre-market lows for me on Apple. Not really looking short. I mean, it's got to get to 178 before you get to that big resistance level anyways. It's kind of like Tesla. Like, it's so far away from the resistance that you got to be looking for the dip buy. And I like the recovery play. Both of these two names are in the midst of recoveries when you look at that daily chart.
All right, Amazon here coming up this week as well, 1.5% here this morning. I mean, we were touching on this a little bit, even overnight. This thing gapped up early on this morning, showing all kinds of strength going into the weekend, even with that huge reversal last week.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I was trying to chart this thing overnight, and it was moving on Blue Ocean. It was like $1.50 higher than the close on Friday. So I stopped charting. Now, the reason why I think we're moving up here, obviously we have earnings coming up this week, so there could be people loading up the boat in anticipation of earnings. But keep in mind that we also got that headline last week with respect to the NBA. So live sports now a big thing. We saw Netflix doing that this summer with the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. So yeah, good look here with ESPN and ABC partnering up with Amazon.
Yeah, very active here to start things off this morning, guys. 1.2 million shares already.
Amazon.
Yeah, I like the deal for them. Obviously, you know the sports are what you got to have live, and the battle's been ongoing, I think, recently for them. So I think that's going to be good for them. At the end of the day, I like 180 level. That was kind of that key price area to trade off of last week, and understandably it was more of a sell off the 180 than anything else. But if you pull back in, the only issue with this is if you pull back into 180, I just feel like you've got the news with Apple if we go dip buy hunting. You've got the news with Tesla if you go dip buy hunting. And if Amazon gets down there, I kind of like the other two more. So that'll be the reason I'm unlikely to be here first. But support turning into resistance and resistance turning into support, it's the same kind of story. But give me the catalyst that Apple's got going for it with AI integration, OpenAI into the phone, which everyone's been waiting for, and that recovery, and then Tesla, which is basically just squeezing people because everyone thought Tesla was under a lot of trouble. So I'd rather be dip buying those two, but there's nothing wrong with that 180 level as a nice area of, let's call it concentration when it gets down there. So if it bounces there, I would not be surprised. I'm just going to be in something else.
Yeah, I won't. I like Amazon ahead of earnings. We'll slow down on trading it up that much here today, but we'll look at AMD instead. The Nasdaq right here, we just don't have any chip names on the board, but we'll be talking a lot about them today, so don't worry. The Nasdaq's falling in again right now into some of these pre-market levels that we've held, but still well above VWAP. So I still feel like we want to watch out for 17.8, which is way down here. So that could be a play coming through. I wrote down on the sticky note that I liked AMD up at 158.50, but the thing is that we were looking at that, looking to break 160. The Nasdaq has now, in the last 8 minutes, gone straight down, and AMD has basically gone, this is the daily chart, waterfalling down. I thought we were like getting all this out of here, and I do like these dip buys. That's 155 right there. Like, that would be awesome to get something like that. I wrote down 158.50, which is where the 200 period moving average is. If we look to see what we did on Friday, this was the top. So for me, I like this area right here on AMD, but at the same time, as we had mentioned similarly to Apple, this name here on Friday broke 156 and went down $3 before getting up 6. So, down into here is also something to be watched out for. So 157 or change there. Now, it's a different story looking at 158 when you're up at 160. I still like this level. Maybe you start the trade there, but ultimately the best area for me would be somewhere around this 157 area for AMD.
Just reading through some numbers here for SoFi. Their full year adjusted revenue beating, but only very, very, very slightly. So that might be the one issue here. But they raised their forecast. So if you missed it, again, SoFi out this morning here pre-market. Initial move was higher, I guess, on the numbers, but the forecast coming in kind of in line on the revenue side. To slightly lower even, so downside here. Again, the call on right now, but SoFi pretty active.
Yeah, and when I started charting this or started actually reporting on this in the morning, it was up 4.8%. So yeah, big move down here. What really caught my attention was the loan origination grew 22% year over year. It was mostly with students and those looking to refinance their mortgage, which is interesting. I think those are the two groups that they were trying to hit. Earnings did well as well. $580 million they brought in net revenue. The street was looking for 559. EPS also beat. They printed here 1 cent EPS. The street was looking for -5 cents. And the guidance, as you mentioned, Brendo, it was a little bit in the light section, so looks as if maybe that's what we're selling off.
Hey man, it's 2 cents versus a 5 cent loss expected. So yeah, 2.39 billion to 243 versus 237. So meh.
And ball don't lie, the price doesn't lie either. So we can want it to be one way, but it's the other way. It's down 6% today. If it gets down 10%, then that'll be around the $7 level. So if it goes to short sell restricted, that's at 7. That's where I want to be buying it, to be honest. I mean, it's support on the daily chart. You'd have an SSR bounce off that level anyways. So yeah, I was in and out of it, paid some fees on the stock. I was in the wrong name, but yeah, I'm just gonna wait at 7 even. I'm already there at 6. And if I see it get down to like 1s and 2s, I'd probably add at that price, give it a few pennies underneath the $7 level, and then go from there. If it does rally, there is that $8 level. That would make some sense because it closed at 787, so a fade up there into that would make sense. But the way it's trending down, I just feel like the SSR bounce play could be there for you on SoFi. We'll let things calm down at the open. We'll see if there's an imbalance on it, probably something small. But yeah, I'll wait for the $7 level. If I'm catching a falling knife, I want it to be in the right spot.
Yeah, and if at some point today I could feel my hands, I probably will put bids down there for $7 even for SoFi. We had sort of talked about that earlier when we looked at this about a half hour or so ago. That, you know what, I would love, and it's a true story. I came in, I was like, oh man, they're not going to like this. And by there, I know that there's a lot of people in our chat that are long SoFi and believers of this name. Anthony Noto and company have come and diluted this company a lot. And today, you're not getting the numbers that everybody wanted. I feel like we could get a lot lower than where we are here at 7. Let's just wait for it. Trading earnings names are hard enough as it is, let alone one that just bounced off the 200 and now broke the 50 and is trying to go lower as well. So we still are going down to the downside. Yo, what's up, Donnie Zimbabwe? So we've got, was there just one super chat? Okay, yo.
He's got a couple.
Oh, he does a couple in there. Okay, what's up, Donnie? Sorry about that, man, missed you. All right, a little bit of time left. Yo, please, yo, he says, yo. All right, please, I see Nvidia falling. I have exercise shares. I didn't close at 830 strike. What's up to 900? What's up to 900 or rejecting? Okay, so I just talked a little bit about AMD, but because of the super chat, let's go over and quickly look at Nvidia. Look, I've mentioned this before, Donnie and company, when you get over psychological levels, like 900 is going to be a pretty key spot. So obviously there's going to be a lot of option activity there. So as you get closer and closer, people get more and more anxious about that strike price. Last Friday, you had a monster move up 6% back up there on weekly expiring options. So now it's Monday, so I feel like today we actually could dip down again until traders decide to buy back into those 900s. So I don't know when they expire or not, but for me, and I know I said I'm a buyer of AMD lower, but I could see Nvidia flushing a little bit as well into the open, 865, 860, where we do have a little bit of support. I don't think we give everything back from Friday, but still a nice move up. To me, this just looks like there's a lot of buying in here almost immediately, straight up, and then a leveling off into the afternoon. Feel like that was a lot of excitement for those exact options that probably you're holding. So I would just say watch out for Nvidia, possible dipping down. The market's up today. I've got bullish feels, and Nvidia's down. So that's not a recipe for success for Nvidia. Should be going with the market, in my opinion. Man, I need some of those, like those Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packer hand warmers.
Yeah, I'm.
Wow. By the way, the Dallas
done
Cowboys
my
solved their running problem. Did you see that?
No, they did not solve anything.
They got Ezekiel Elliott.
Why are you making fun of the Cowboys now? Even I feel bad the Cowboys have to run.
You got Ezekiel Elliott.
I know, I feel bad for them. It takes a lot for me to feel bad for the Cowboys.
I heard they signed Emmitt Smith potentially coming out of retirement.
That would be great for them.
I loved Emmitt Smith, by the way.
I echo your concerns.
Is that Oklahoma Emmitt Smith? Where is that guy from?
No, Oklahoma State was Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Where was that? Actually, I don't remember where Emmitt Smith went to college. I should.
All right.
But I have concerns with Nvidia today, too, because of that same thing. However, I like the 860 and 850 levels look pretty decent on the chart. Like, it's all you could just be pulling back because of how ridiculous the move was on Friday.
Was it Florida?
And you had some weakness in there. But I like 860. That was afternoon or late morning support, and then the 850 levels where we broke out from.
Tell Rob.
We get down there on Nvidia, I'd probably be looking for bounces. But on the chip names, yeah, because we're not really talking about them, I like ARM again if it fails 103. So going back to the
he's out of here.
Why did I get a yellow cup? I've never even seen
Rob was also going to get them.
It's like very McDonald's.
You might have two coming. All right, cheers.
It's like
I said I was bullish. Now I got the red cup.
This is a very.
This feels good on the hands, though. Oh my God, Florida.
He was a Gator. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. As soon as I said that, I was like, no, okay, it's not that.
Barry and Thurman Thomas.
I thought Florida State at some point. Well, your hands are freezing too.
My hands have been freezing.
Okay.
I have like goosebumps on my arms.
It was gorgeous yesterday, although we had three baseball events rained out this week. We had a game early Saturday rained out, and then a coach's clinic yesterday, and a practice rained out. Oh, well, it finally gets going, and then this happens. Ketchup and mustard, yeah, that's right. That is.
Yeah, or that.
Oh, man, this is nice and hot.
I know, I say McDonald's, but it's really ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, McDonald's. McDonald's reports this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, crypto, yeah, what's up with that? 62.5, boys?
Yeah, down slightly here, along with some equities tied to it. But, I mean, we're right at this support level. Once again this morning, Sean was mentioning about 62, 62.5. It's bounced off here many times. But if you look at individual names, as I said, same thing. Mara down here, IBIT's going to follow, obviously, the price as well, gapping back to daily support again.
I think this is going to be like the third or fourth day in a row, Brendo, that we're going to close red here on crypto. Coinbase also getting a comment today from H.C. Wainwright, dropping the price target from 250. Raising the price target, it looks like here, from 250 to 300. So, yeah, it had a nice little positive catalyst, but it is still down about 1.88% on the day.
Yeah, the halving comes and goes, and it's been kind of a ho-hum type of trade ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very boring.
The halvening, you say.
I would say for crypto. All that said, maybe we're just gearing up for the next leg. Maybe look, as long as we're underneath 65,000, it's kind of hard to look for like breakout style trades. So when you've got that overhead resistance, just want to put that line in there and hit save. When you've got that overhead potential resistance and you're inside the range, play for the inside. For Coinbase, that means the 240 level. I really don't think there's any chance you see the low 200s here, so I think it's the 240 level, and you look for that for a bit of a fade trade. In terms of like maybe giving yourself some kind of a long, we already know what Mara did off of the bottom. Well, it did a liquidity grab again on Thursday, where it bounced off of like 17.5 and then went rallying. So if you look at that level, that looks pretty reasonable for potential long. But it's the Coinbase 240 that I think I'd be a little bit more interested in. If you can't, like I said, if you can't break 65,000 and if it's going to be boring and inside, then you look to go long support and short resistance. So Coinbase 240 would be in there. I don't have a ton of like things that I like short outside of, short the pops on Intel every single day. But Coinbase 240 at least gives you something today.
Yeah, I was still trying to find out some levels for Tesla here because that's come back into 190 again, 189 and change. So that 192 is going to be a level. We only have a couple minutes left until these imbalances come out. So could get down to the downside if we break through this 188. 188 is a key level, obviously, but this 187.50 is where VWAP is, so watch out. As Tesla's come right back in here, we knew it was going to be a pretty volatile morning for that name. We can look at Mara. I mean, you know, Coinbase is obviously going to be a good look today as well. But Mara, you know, a nice mover. We talked about that buy down here at 14.50, but now we've sort of stopped at 20 again. You want to talk about Donnie Zimbabwe and his Nvidia question. This is something similar at 20 bucks, where again, it's come up, bounced his head, what, 3 times now against 20, and now is pushing back. So unfortunately, I think this one does come back into the 200 period at some point, off of earnings, off of the halving. So unless crypto starts to go, I do think that Mara comes down into this 14 area and does look to be a buy down into that area. We are now long some Apple. We got filled a decent position there at 173 as it just came in on those imbalances. So it looks like they will be some sell side imbalances coming through right here. Just quickly, Tesla, big downside sell as well. 400,000. So the market's starting to get hit now. 500,000 on Tesla sell. Apple with the sell. Amazon, as we talked about, with a small buy now, but it was much bigger before. Tesla and Apple leading the way. Let's go, Brendo.
Real quick, guys, Altimmune, ALT, I saw a couple of people mentioning gapping to the downside this morning. This thing's had a huge move going back to December on some weight loss drug rumors that they were going to come out with a product. Looks like that has gone by the wayside, or at least the analysts are saying that a little bit negative this morning about whether or not this is actually going to come to market. So right back to daily support here for ALT.
All right, guys, we are talking about the gap and go strategy all week and all the variations thereof. Perfect in time for earnings season. Catch that with Adair and I today on How to Trade at 11.
Yes, sir. And with about 3 minutes to go, looks like, oddly enough, for reasons unknown to me, Mullen made a little bit of a move here today. I didn't see them on the imbalance locator or anything like that, but remember, they reverse split, so it's pretty thinly traded, up 25%. Yeah, this can, I mean, it can squeeze because the float's really tiny. So I'm looking at the daily chart, like 420 looks really good if Mullen can hold above that. Actually, check that, 410. So if it can hold above 410 at some point at the open, this would be a potential squeeze play on Mullen, but I didn't really see the catalyst in there. I'm on the bid of Apple for the open. We got 3 minutes to go. We have some time. That pre-market low 172 going to possibly come into play. I mentioned pop and fade every single day on Intel. Now, it was a relief rally because it's SSR. It'll be short sell restricted again today because they were down over 10%. The 32.5 zone. So Friday's like morning high. That's the spot that I want to look for the short. If it clears out those Friday levels, I get out of the way. Short sell restricted because these guys got pummeled on Friday. That's where the area of caution should be because of that. We also like, well, Tesla's starting to come back in here. All right, Tesla, I'm bidding 185 already. As you said, like Google, Neo are the biggest ones on the imbalances because Apple already seemingly paired off. Tesla's 190, but that's smaller than when it came out. So you're already seeing some of these imbalances start to pair off. So Tesla, I'm looking for a 185 on a dip buy. Whatever your expectations are for volatility on Tesla, double or triple them today.
Yeah,
It's already up 12%. The top could be over 200. If it pulls back in, it's not even threatening going red. It could be down $15 from here and it would still be up on the day. So you have to keep that in mind a little bit as we trade some Tesla today. Going to get some dip buys locked and loaded, ready to go. And SoFi is already at 730.
Oh, no.
SoFi could see $7 off the open. We call that pie in the sky. It's not pie in the sky, the USSR on SoFi.
All right, so we're up 30 cents now on Apple with a much better position, obviously, than our Tesla trade here. We'll take another piece out if we can get something at 30s, which we just did. We just got another fill there at 38.39. Now we'll wait to see if we can get this even higher. I'm going to offer in the 70s to see if we can get something out then at 174. So Apple holding fort right now with less than a minute left. Good dip buy opportunity there. We knew that we liked Apple on the dip. The problem with Tesla, of course, is this is going to be like earnings season all over again here, up 12% right now with Tesla. I'm going to get out of it on a 187.50 break, and then we'll just work on it from there. Take the L if it breaks, go work on something else. We're actually going to be flat on the day right now, even holding this position because we have the Apple trade. So hopefully Apple and Tesla will get back up. First out for Tesla is going to be at 190 now. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, good luck. We got about 20 seconds to go. It's a big earnings week. It's a Fed week as well, although we expect absolutely nothing on Wednesday, except for maybe some fireworks and some questions to be asked as to what the timeline might be. Adara is on the bell. Let's get this party started. Tesla flying. Apple making some power moves. We got Amazon on tap as well. But in 2 and 1, ring it.
Yeah, good luck everybody out there today. It should be a good day, I hope, anyways. All right, Apple, there we go. Tesla does flush down. You did have to get settled there off the open, so we will take the loss there on Tesla as it does flush down through 187 as the market figures itself out. Apple is building off of that level. So Apple right now trying to build off 173, and here comes Tesla into 186 and change. Possible flush in here for Tesla. Let's wait to see.
Yeah, I just got my first fill on Tesla. That is absolutely flying into the downside. Apple's kind of chilling right now. We already mentioned.
Whoops.
What was whoops?
I put the wrong price for Tesla.
And as always, sit in Intel short is the way to go. So that's already starting to fall. You guys can see it. Intel's already to the downside because that's what they do every single day. But Tesla pulling back in. I got 86 halves into this 85 if we want to be able to pick up some more. You know what? I said on Friday, if you want to short Intel, you sit in it. Be willing to sit in it at the open, and I just didn't do it once again. So I'm going to get on the offer. I'm going to try and short the pops like we always say into the pre-market lows. First available pop is the strategy. I feel like I say that every single day on that stock.
Yeah, Intel's been a funny one for sure. Yeah, so I wanted to buy more through 187.50, that level that broke on us, the VWAP, in case it went back to the upside. But I did get long right here at 186.40, so it just triggered early, wrong price. We still want to get something lowered there at 185. That just hasn't filled out yet, but Apple is really cruising. We're doing the damage on Apple right now. We were lucky enough to get filled on that one. So we'll be 1 and 1 here and basically flat on the day, pending, of course, what does wind up happening here with Tesla. We could buy a little bit more right in and around here. I don't want this to get too out of hand because I still am bidding some more down near 185. And then after that 185, if we lose that, I mean, maybe this news isn't as great as we thought, and we're going to have to wait for something a little bit lower. But for me, yeah, 185 is coming in a little bit quicker than I'd hoped for. Watch out, I guess, for 185 possibly. Yeah, I would love for Tesla to get going. We're almost a dollar club in the money here with Apple as well.
Yeah, Apple hasn't even dipped at all, so yeah, your opportunity to get the long was pretty much right away, unfortunately. Tesla just bounced off the 85. I was able to get a scalp trade out here at 86.5. I'm waiting in front of 88 for the next level. Nvidia is starting to fall, although it's bounced off 869. I liked an 860. Doesn't look like we're going to get that anytime soon, so it's just Apple for me for the time being, but let's go to Adara.
With keeping an eye on Philips here, PHG, these are the U.S. listed shares of a European company, but this one, nice volume here right off the open and gapping up about 35% after its earnings. They also announced that they had settled this ongoing U.S. litigation, now been settled for $1.1 billion. So nice move up here, worth watching PHG, guys.
Oh my gosh, guys, yeah. SoFi's doing, but right now, Apple. Let's go. Apple's a big one right there. What's up, Adara? How are you doing? Right there. Let's go, Apple. Nice move there as Apple's now $1.20 plus in the money. And now Tesla's going up to the upside as well. Pays a man his money, says Elon, as we get back up to the upside right now. Let's go, Tesla. Nice dip buy opportunity there into, as we talked about, sticking 11 on a level that I know Neil liked as well with Tesla. So let's go, man. We are now, yes, sir, cooking and rocking with more shares. We just bought more up there. There's our 187.50 triggering in again. So this time we're buying higher here. Probably a problem as we were just $2 in the money. We did take some out to the upside. Now we're longer on Tesla as that starts to go. And the man with the chicken is now in the building. It is Sharif. Here we go. 187.80. Let's go. Come on, Tesla. Let's get going to the upside right here again. We're doing it early. Let's hopefully we don't lose late.
Tesla absolutely flying now off baby. That open. That's the wrong key. There's a better one than that. But we got the 185. Got 85.45. It's breaking out 88s. Once we're through 89, I think you got the pre-market high locked and loaded, ready to go. SoFi did not get to $7, but that's like a yet thing. AMD just broke out 160, so that's the only chip name looking relatively strong, as Nvidia is tanking right now. So I like the 850 level on, 860 and 850 on Nvidia. You're seeing it start to tank. AMD looking strong, Intel looking like an absolute dog. Coinbase, we're looking for a fade on Coinbase. No pop to be faded. Coinbase down 3.6%. No offer out because it's now $15 or $12 away from our level. So Tesla's working. It's about 2.5 in the money, and SoFi is so very close to $7. It just bounced off 715. It's not quite SSR yet, but 10% down seems like it's going to get there. It feels like it's going to get there today. I shouldn't speak in certainties. There's always a chance that it's made a low now, but I think we're getting $7 today.
All right, guys. We'll just do our little emoji where we go like this to everybody. We give the salute because, I mean, that's exactly how we're feeling right now today. As we said, we were feeling bullish. We have our sticky note trade number 2 for us here. Here it is right here. It's Apple. We talked about wanting the long. It gave it to us, and it is absolutely fan-damn-tastic here to hold the rest of the day. We are now cruising right now. Huge trades alert now. As Tesla, guess what just happened to Tesla, baby? It went dollar. So we're now $3 in the money off that bottom. But the thing is that we got greedy. We got greedy. We told you what we were going to do with Tesla. We chose violence today. We added to the winning position. How many times do you see your boy do this? Not often. That's called confidence right there. So there goes Tesla. Nicely done, up to the upside. We'll spin it right now. It's another hot dog cannon kind of a day over here with 2 trades. And they're both absolute monsters, as there goes Apple right now up to 175, now $1.80 in the money for Apple. We just took Tesla out for $1, but Tesla's really, I guess, $2.50 or so. Let's see how high Tesla can go. Next stop, 50 period. Maybe we'll take something out there at 190, but I'm looking at 192 for Tesla, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's a monster day. We didn't need this one, but we will take it as we'll slap it up here. Nice little opportunity there for Tesla on this long, baby. So it's an absolute monster, Miss A.
Mullen still really strong here off the open. MULN up about 32%. This does have a short float of about 20%, but there also was a catalyst here announcing that the California Air Resources Board did approve their Mullen 3 vehicle for this zero emission truck and bus voucher incentive project. So basically incentives can cover this Mullen 3 truck. Nice look for MULN, guys.
Oh, Mullen's still powering. If it holds 410, that's the level I like, but I want to see it calm down off that open. SoFi is getting down to that $7 level. You can see out here, it is now short sell restricted through $7. Well, it hasn't broken 7, but it is short sell restricted. Tesla's holding 89s. We definitely like that. But I have to get into Intel here. Whoops, let's cancel those. Do not need offers way out there. They have 0% chance of hitting at this point. But I want short back into 3150. You can see relative weakness here. There's no question about it with Intel, as I'm trying to grab this fade trade, and it just won't even go. Tesla, it's more about management at this point. I want the pre-market highs.
Oh, nice out.
But I don't know if we're going to be able to get that one here. So we're going to stick with it. I just got Intel for the first time on a fade, but I consider that a fail because we should have been sitting in Intel the entire way. I shouldn't be only getting into it now. That stock continues to be an absolute dog. So SoFi long, but I'm only adding if I get tight to 1s and 2s, maybe even some 3s.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be able to wipe the smile too much off our face, but Tesla, we just got some out up there at 189. So we did really good to get all the way up there, man. We got a 189 print right there. So that's 180, well, 188.90, 188.50. Good outs all the way up for Tesla. So there's a buy right there. It's going to be hard to see, but that's our last buy upside. So that was, hopefully a decent opportunity there. I have no more offers now. We're really printing now today. I mean, look what just happened to Apple. Look where we're long. Sharif, this is 250 right there for Apple. Hell yeah, says Fabian. Hell yeah, says Neil. Hell yeah, says Sharif. Hell yeah, says Adara. This is what we're talking about. Hell yeah, what's Big Patty Ice saying back there? Let's go. I mean, this is what we're talking about here. 2 for 2, it's deuces. It's a violent day in the market. I mean, imagine Apple's 250 in the money and the market is doing this. Okay? So we were bullish on the names that we had, but we have to start rethinking about this because down goes the market right now. Let's just be careful. AMD is the one on my mind, but Tesla's up here at 190. That's getting to be pretty juicy up here. We're well in the money, but also well aware that the market's tank city right now. So thank you so much to Vlad. What's my dream car? I don't know, man. Hopefully, I don't really have a dream car, to be honest with you, but I'll think about that. And right now, I'm just in this zone. Nice move for Tesla, 189.75. Huge move up, $3 in the money Tesla off of a reload, and $2 in the money off Apple. Hit him, eh?
Sirius XM here up over 3%, getting an upgrade from Seaport Global to a buy rating ahead of its earnings tomorrow morning. SIRI on watch, guys.
Siri reports
Siri,
as well.
not
So Tesla, I'm going to
Siri.
lock this in if it can't hold 189. It can't do any worse than $3.50 here, but it is getting a little bit top heavy. The market's tanking, by the way.
Yep.
And we are getting a little bit top heavy. So I want to make sure we lock in these profits. Intel, we are the only thing that we're looking to be short here, and we haven't even gotten anything in the 40s, is this Intel trade. And I got to sit somewhere in the 40s. If we're going to get a pop, then this is the name I do want to be short. It's absolute nastiness when it comes to some of the chip names. ARM, we missed our chance on ARM as well. ARM just tagged $100
Kablam.
into the downside, so you know it's getting nasty with them. I only want to be short this name, but I don't want to take the low.
Oh, man.
So I got to short the pop back into 103. First available pop. My stop on SoFi is underneath $7 for anyone that was asking. Brian was asking in the chat.
What's up, Brian?
Give it a couple pennies underneath $7 level. I'm long here at 6s. I missed my chance at 1s when I was getting the Intel position, but I will be back on the 1s and 2s for SoFi. So still the same thing. SoFi, Tesla long cannot do any worse than the 189 at this particular point. So I liked it at 185 for the dip buy, waited patiently for that to come in at the open. Tesla is choosing violence, but the market's even more violent, and it's in the other direction. So I think locking in the profits on the long makes some sense here. Should have more shorts. Should have more shorts than just Intel at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's always nice when you come in and choose violence, and so does the stock you're looking at. So I do like that kind of a talk right there. Yeah, Tesla is what we thought it was. And there it goes back down, breaking through now. Horrible break back down. I don't like that at all. Pretty violent move as the futures continue to go low, 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 low. So on that note, bye-bye, Apple. We'll get something out more again at the top for
another one.
But we are not reloaded. So Travolta's like, what's the next trade? Okay, so let's do that then. All right, there goes Apple out of a little piece right there. Obviously, we just saw Tesla dip in as well into VWAP. We could try a little bit more here. I don't want to get too carried away with this trade. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait on this one. I mean, the market is, going to treat these stocks however they want to. And like, if this market was ripping, this Tesla long, I think would be an absolute monster.
I think it'd be at $197 right now.
Yeah, exactly, but it ain't. So when that's the case, we have to ease back a little bit here and sort of lower said expectations. But at that point, we should have just bought it. Right there, yeah, lowered expectations. That is a good
Mad
segment.
TV, old school, baby.
Yeah, we like that one for sure.
Look, this might be an opportunity, though, on Tesla. Look, for my style of trade, it does this wick through 190, then I'm locking it in there. If it bounces off VWAP, we join the VWAP party. Otherwise, with the market weak, wait for your price. And my price is 185. So we're going to go right back into the 185 level and see if we can't grab that. Intel is probably going to $31. And then after that, let's just say it's going to get bad for them, especially after AMD reports. But down 2%, it's the only thing we had short, and I think that's a bit of a disappointment. But if you look over, look at Apple. Okay, I got to cancel this dip buy on Apple. Why? Because A, it's not getting there. B, it's just a distraction to look for anything but the previous breakout. So if it dips, breakout was 74. So the way back in here would be VWAP to 174. The market is now red on the day.
Oh, yeah.
Meta 432. So sometimes you just got to look to where can you join the party. Tesla long has worked, but I want something else. I've got SoFi off the bottom here, but that's not, that's like a gimmicky play. That is an SSR bounce play. This is not me trying to follow the market. This is bounce. If it gets to VWAP, I'm laughing. If it goes halfway to VWAP, I'm happy. So I need something else, and it's got to be a short at this point. ARM, I had to be patient for. I'll wait about 5 more minutes before I start thinking about another entry point on ARM. I just realized I should get some offers into SoFi into the 20s, and then get some offers into VWAP as well, because this particular play, I do really just like it to VWAP here on SoFi.
All right, I have to figure out some stops now because we are back into Tesla. We're in the money on it, so it's fine. Well, we're flat on it at 187.50 right now. I was thinking about just where we sort of got in there, a break of 185 or so for this name. So let's remain in this if we can for Tesla. I do have an offer here at 90s to get out. There it goes. It's another 50 cents there for Tesla. So let's slap it up, and we're back into the highs right now. Highs for the net for here for the day. 189 and change. We just bought a dip. But see, these two kind of cancel each other out, but then we get out at the top. So right now, so far, so good here as we wait to see what's going to happen with Tesla. I'm at 189.50. Maybe we'll go up to 188.90 again. See if we do get that push up and then give up that 50 cents just in order to get out. Wow, man, I need to. I need some of those heating pads for show. Good out for Apple, but Apple continues to rip higher for sure. If this market rebounds, we already mentioned how much we loved Apple down there. Should have held it all. Obviously, 173, still in the money, $2. Amazon shooting the moon as well.
No.
No? Oh, going downside.
Amazon's down.
Okay, that was not on my radar today.
So Amazon just dipped into that 180 level and was trying to recover it here. So we talked about this. If it bounces off 180, that was a spot that we liked. There's it trying to put in a bit of a higher low. It closed at 179.62. So holding around this price would be basically holding green, which is always a good sign. So I'm actually in. Remember I said like there's a decent chance if the market were to dip, I'm probably buying Tesla and Apple first. Well, guess which one didn't actually go? That's going to be Apple. So I am dip buying Amazon instead. This local bottom, 179.40. That will be the out. If it makes a fresh low, I'm just out of the stock. It's just that simple. Unless it's holding above 180, I don't want to be adding to that position either. So one more thing here, Intel just made a bit of a double bottom there, 31.10. Some buyers stepped in. I took another leg out. I'll wait for VWAP for a retracement trade on Intel, but we rang the register there. Tesla, great. Intel late, but still a winning trade. You just had to be able to short the first of it. Like the first place that it slowed down, we just shorted it off of VWAP, and that's the way that stock goes. So the new position for me is Amazon. It's now trying to hold this 180 level. As long as it's here, I want to look for a place to add, but you see it's still kind of weak here. The market's bouncing, and it can't seem to hold above 180. Once it's holding above 180, then we can add to that position. Just one more, and I gotta check in on Alibaba. I like to dip buy into 75. Looks like it's not doing it here yet. So I want to be patient. I mean, Alibaba on Friday, you really had to wait for it till about like midday before it tested 75 even. I think we're doing something very similar today. I'd say a bit of a disappointment because with the Baidu news, that was really flying as well. What, DJT making? Okay, that's not. In the chat, I just saw Tom H put in DJT 111. So for a split second there, I was like, what the heck are you talking about? There's no chance it's at $100. But DJT is up. Respect to them. Probably not going to be trading it myself. Apple, if you're looking at VWAP, you really do have to wait for this one. 174.70 is now where VWAP sits on Apple. Yeah, you're going to have to play the patience game because this one's off. It's gone at this point.
Whew. I mean, we just got a 189. What did we just get there? We just got some tea, and we got a 189 print right there on Tesla. Oh, man. Okay. By the way, Apple, 1, 2, 3 right now. We only have, the only names we traded so far are the two names that we had on our sticky note. And that's good enough for me so far. But we have to, Apple's getting a little exhausting here, and I want to kind of wait. The only reason I say that about Apple, it's like, I'm not, what else am I going to do? I'm just holding a small piece, 10% of what's left of this, obviously, wish we had a little bit more. Tesla, I don't want to keep getting in and out because we can easily lose what we made. if I just keep on buying this dip and it doesn't go back, which is why we have 2 outs right here, then we're going to give it all back. Because when this comes back in here, my out's going to be, I have to set the out. We still have a decent position. We have about half of this. 184-ish or so as the out, but like that bottom's 185 and change. I'm wondering if we just do throw in the towel in and around 185. So let's be careful with this position on Tesla. Make sure that we monitor it, but that is going to be a stopping zone for me. Let's just go back over again to the sticky note, because why not? We did have a low bid here of Alibaba, but we were going to wait for 74, so that could be something that we look out for. And then Palantir, we wanted a nice little dip opportunity into 2250. What is the low for Palantir? Are you kidding me, Big Patty Ice? 2250, the low here for Palantir. We'll see if we can get a bid in and around here right now, as it just got rinsed down to the downside. Exactly. Well, it's 5 cents away from that level. We should probably go long, but here we go. Tesla back in trouble long.
Yeah, the 87 is a higher low, but I'm still sticking with the 85 for now. ARM just made, get off Amazon, because if it holds 180, we're going to get into it anyways, but it doesn't look like it wants to do that right now. ARM is right at $100. Bit of a spread going on here. I only want to be short this name, and it just did a huge wick through where it broke 100, got to 130, and pulled right back underneath. So this might be a short off the 100 level. But it would be such a tight stop because I have to get out at 150. So the offer is starting to get now below, so we're going to get there. Amazon's still long. SoFi still holding the $7 level. Tesla obviously could give us back that fill at 185. It was so strong, now you're underneath VWAP. I'm waiting in front of 185. Like, I've pretty much not really going anywhere else here on Tesla, so we're still sitting on the bid. 85's got to have to be it. And Amazon might give it up. This market's starting to look down again. Give me some, I'm going to try and get into this ARM underneath that 100. I want that one to the south side. We just can't seem to get it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just new position here in Palantir, just a very, very much of a starter position. We're going to have to, well, wait a minute, we did have some bids there at 157, or sorry, 157, 2257. I had too many shares there. Let me put another one there as we put it back, and then we'll watch out for potentially, you know, we didn't get filled down there. Let's buy some 60s. We just punched into 60 there. Let's see if it goes. All right, so starter position now on Palantir. Again, I don't mind that, but I'd mentioned that this was a problem spot for us, and so be it. I mean, now comes Tesla. So coming back in right here, you know, play the momentum, play all the, like, you know, the hurrah and everything early on this name. And then when the air comes out of the proverbial tires here, pun, yes, intended, but not that they're losing air in their tires. It's more like the stock price right now. But what a great run Tesla's had from those bottoms. So remember what we had said. Like, I had still thought, we still know that the EV market is weak, but this move to China sort of solidifies that AI stance that we've all been trusting Elon with. So I really like the long here, but up 11% on a story out of China. I wouldn't be surprised if people kind of say, not BS to it, because it's going to be true, but let's see the impact that this actually has. Because, again, are they going to run and start to buy more EV names there in China? I think EV is not going anywhere, and it is obviously a thing of the future. This is not a hot take or anything. But we're through earnings now, so we have to wait to hear reports of exactly what JD, Billy, all these companies, how can they, again, start to monetize with this deal here and allowing some of the data to now flow through Tesla into full self-drive capability into some of these Chinese names. So yeah, as I sit here and watch this, it's not nice as we pull back in just a little bit into 185.50 again.
Yeah, 185. I'm still, give me. We're not there yet. It just broke 186. I'm not really moving the bid. ARM, we do have. That's a new position. We took it back underneath 100. It really didn't give you any shots at VWAP in there. I wanted this one short. Maybe we could have had a 103, something like that. If we get 99s, we're going to take some out. Then we'll look for the 98 level if this continues to flush. Now here comes Tesla. We're going to get long Tesla. It looks like.
The problem is everybody's getting long now.
Everybody's probably looking at that same long opportunity down here, which makes sense. And if it can't hold 185, it's going to be a crowded trade down here on Tesla. But is what it is. Sometimes when there's a trap, all you can do is spring it because you like it. So we're back into Tesla. Amazon is still chilling, but it's about to make a fresh low. There was one bounce on Amazon, and now it's about to take out that bottom. It's held a couple of times, but I do not want to add to this position unless we're back above 180. I'd rather add on strength than continue to catch a falling knife. There's SoFi is holding on, $7. It's held line pretty well. It's short sell restricted on SoFi, and it's bouncing off 7. So if it can get above 7 a couple more times here, maybe the 05s, 06s, could be an opportunity to add to this position as the market flushes and it's holding on for dear life. So I got 2 shorts on, both chip names, but the longs are getting under pressure here. Oh, there goes Tesla, 185.
Yep, there it goes.
That was fast.
Yeah, so we got out of our first tranche at 185.50 break there. And then we got into another one right now against a 184.50 bottom that was just made. So if, you know, obviously if we don't hold, then we are gone on this one. We'll take a little piece out back up to the upside right there. But we've been doing okay at this level. We didn't really lose anything yet. All we lost was the opportunity to get out all the way up here. Sucks for sure, but still an L is an L. So there's a little piece back up, right up to the 200. Now it looks like it wants to fade against that bottom. Like I said, we took it once, we got out for flat right there, and now it looks like it wants to. Here we go, 184.50. We'll go red on Tesla, trying to dip by twice. And we talked. There it goes. Nope. We talked very soon. We talked about this as a potential hazard for this stock as the market kept coming to the downside. At some point, people are going to look at their portfolio today and be like, wow, you know, Tesla 12, 13, 14, 15%, whatever it was at the highs potentially could be something that we choose to sell. All right, one last little look there for Tesla. Let's see if it can go up. We're long at 185.05.
I just regained the 85 level, so I'll take my shot back. And it's similar to Amazon, man. I'm a buyer if it gets back above 180 on Amazon. I'm a buyer as long as Tesla continues to hold 185. It broke it once, but it did not make a fresh low, so it wicked back through. I get back in, and we're going to give it to the local bottom. So it's more like the wick trade. I don't mind having the stop in there and getting stopped out at the bottom, but if I'm going to get wicked out, I'm probably jumping right back in 10 times out of 10. ARM, we got one bid, and then it's right back up. So I'm going to wait for the 100 level if we're going to reload this. And then if we're still in Intel, obviously Intel's kind of chilling out. Lower highs. I'm sitting at VWAP here, but I like lower highs anywhere we can get them on this. Amazon, there we go. Amazon's starting to hold that 180 level, so we're going to be adding to Amazon.
All right, Palantir, sticky note trade number 3 right now. Tesla long, Apple long. We in the money now with Palantir again. So let's go. I hear Big Patty Ice giving some props in the back as well. So there it goes. Nice trade. I hope this guy's long with me. We bought 55s, 57s maybe was the lowest we got there. So remember when we were sitting there and I was like, we don't want to take it. Well, we put it back in there, and we did take that there at 57. So not a good fill the first time for sure at 64, 65. We talked about that being a starter position. Not a good one. Thing about it is I'm trying to work my way around all of that. That's why the Apple trade was a really pretty good one. The fact that it dipped in there and then got us long before the open was pretty risky, but we took that fill. We were waiting for 172.50. We would have loved to have loaded it up there, but we still got a very decent amount of shares down on that downside for Apple, which created this move to the high side opportunity for us. Here we go again for Palantir. We'll take some more out at 68. I mean, I would love to get that 75. That's where my next offer is, in and around 75 for the AI monster that will be realized into the S&P 500 at some point. That is going to be PLTR. 185.20, nice move back up to the upside. Let's wait to see what happens.
Yeah, speaking of what happens, Amazon did do it. It regained 180, holds a double bottom. I said, we're only adding on strength. So didn't want to add bulls underneath. It did the nice little roundy face, broke the 180 level, held a higher low. We grabbed more shares, took some out in front of the 40. Now we're going to wait for 181 and VWAP on this name. Looking pretty good. Tesla, we jump right back into it after the wick bottom. Needs to break 186 though. This needs to get above 186, test VWAP, and then it looks a little bit more exciting. And SoFi ends up holding that $7 level, that SSR bounce play, which we said there's only one place we're trading SoFi today, and that's going to be SSR bounce. We're starting to get out in the 10s. VWAP is the target here on SoFi. Again, you're risking just underneath that $7 level. So you get 20, 30 cents on this. You got to be at least a little bit happy with the play on SoFi. Not expecting the moon here. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed in the stock in a general sense, but the SSR bounce play working very, very nicely. Worth noting, Google just held VWAP. So that's starting to show some signs of strength as well. But the longs are back.
Yeah,
Tesla
we are
off the same level. We'll ring the register just like before. Patience. Tesla, Amazon, SoFi, all three of them just had to be patience off your dip buys.
Yeah, man, we're getting excited around here, baby. It's another $1.50 in the money on Tesla. It's a 2-spot on Apple. And it's Palantir as we go to the upside. We're loving that one. We're cooking up another one. The first one is Apple. The second one is Tesla. The third one is Palantir. It's a 3-for-3 kind of day, and it's over to the desk with A. Boys.
Both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ starting to come back a little bit here, kind of bouncing just below positive on the day and now kind of trying to make that comeback. We did have a lot of individual names very strong today, Tesla and Apple among them in terms of the mega cap side. On strong catalysts, we also have Apple, Amazon, and AMD among the names on watch for earnings this week. And of course, Wednesday, we have the FOMC meeting. So lots of anticipation for what's to come later in the week. In terms of individual names moving today, we do have Baidu trying to hold on to this upside here, up about 5% on reports that the company is going to be partnering with Tesla for mapping and navigation as part of Tesla's move into FSD in China. Next up here, we have an earnings name on watch, Paramount, PARA, up 5% ahead of its earnings report tonight amidst ongoing reports of potential mergers with Skydance Media and the potential firing of CEO Bob Bakish. So PARA absolutely on watch. Last but not least, Carvana here, CVNA, ranging a little bit, but up about 3% after getting a price target increase from TD Cowen to $70. So lots of names to keep an eye on today, guys.
So much to watch. We talked about this, earnings season or earnings week being not as big as last week, but there's a heck of a lot going on because you have week 2 and then upgrades and downgrades off of all of those old earnings. So Amazon just want to be a little bit cautious here as it comes back up because here's what I'm seeing with the market. NASDAQ bounce is really good. Like you're bouncing, you're up about like 40, 50 points off the bottoms. And this can't seem to get to VWAP here on Amazon. So a little bit of caution for me as it's off the 180, but it's not flying the way that I'd like to see it. So I'm probably going to get something out in front of the 180.50 again. I'm not adding to this position. I don't think you add if it doesn't look as strong as you're liking. Intel still chilling. Lower highs here, so we're short 2 chip names. ARM's at the money. Intel can't even get to VWAP on this bounce. So I think we got to be back into shorting in the 30s. I've been waiting in front of 31.40. I don't think we get that. VWAP now sits in the low 30s. That's where we're going to have to hit. SoFi, it's chilling about 8 cents in the money, printing some 16s there. My next offers are 23s and then up at like 27s. VWAP's at 736. So I think that's where we can get to. Going to put some offers in front of VWAP on SoFi. So the SSR bounce play working pretty much as expected.
Yeah, I'm going to put another offer here up near 187 for, nice trade out there on Palantir. We just took some out in the 70s again. But that stopped again right there ahead of VWAP. So let's put another offer in and around there, 186.85 or so. I actually put one at 187.40, hoping that we would break. That's like right where VWAP is. But we didn't break 187. I thought that was going to be a good little bump up there. So in a little bit of factor of greed, we waited for that trade and didn't come through. So now let's put one at 186 and change. I'm getting the feeling like this could be a really big day. So I want to kind of wait for that. So one more out and then no more after that. I think Tesla could go back up, into somewhere near the highs of the day. So let's wait to see if Tesla gets going, especially if these futures go. I really think this is a great opportunity to watch this stock, continue to climb higher here. But, in effort to feed the family and pay the bills, I will take another piece out here on Tesla as it does come back up to the upside. Hasn't been the easiest of days trading, but we're 3 for 3 with Tesla right now, Palantir, with a great buy for Palantir, honestly, that 22.50. Like, we just, so base, people are always asking where do we get these levels and all that kind of stuff. Kind of just look back in, try to find some stocks that I like. If there was any dip buy opportunities for theirs, where would I be? The important thing about all of this, though, A, it's having confidence. B, it's knowing that your style makes money, so you go with it. And the second thing is, and I just want to show everybody, to me, this is probably the most important thing, and it just says it right here on the sticky note, and it's this word right here, bullish. You know, like the stock market's the stock market. The NASDAQ is down. I'll have to see, I mean, obviously the ES is going to be down as well. But it's the names that you're looking at that give you those feels. Like we did not look at AMD today, you know, because the market, we know that's not going to be part of it. Tesla has the great catalyst that we like, and 185 has been cash. So we've waited for that. We've got those dip buys, and that's been a really easy dip buy area that's given you multiple dollars multiple times. And then Apple, I mean, with their report coming Thursday, we loved all the AI talk here. We talked about that. We liked the levels that Apple was at. I thought Apple was is the next one. I think that. So, and then Palantir, again, the fact that we were bullish gives us this trade. But if we were bearish, it's almost as easy of a trade up here at $23 to go short. So this is why, for me, it's not about, look what I'm doing. Because you can see the numbers. We're putting them up all the time, or the trades. But it's the process, so we could teach each other to go. There's people talking there about my strategy in the chat, Neil's strategy. That's what it's about. Figuring out your own strategy, and at the end of the day, only Neil and I can look down, you know, at the P&Ls and judge, is our strategy working? So you guys can see what we're doing, ask us anything you want, but at the end of the day, we have to respect our main ideas, and getting this tea was a fantastic idea because now my hands feel like I can actually start to feel the tips of them.
I'm leaving my heater on.
Yeah, I think you just put your hands directly
Usually
on
I
the
actually,
heater.
when I'm done my coffee, which I'm done it now, I turn the heater off because why would you have a mug heater on with nothing on it? But I'm actually just going to do this and then have my hands on it and all kind of. I am cold, and yes, I made the decision to wear short sleeves when usually I have a sweater. You guys see it all the time. But just one thing here. SoFi, it's got a wall at 720, and it's not a lot of shares on the offer because, look, it's done 65 million shares, so like 60, 70,000 shares is nothing. But they're selling it for sure. So I just took some more shares out there at the 17 level. Want to respect the strength that I'm seeing. SoFi just passed Tesla for me as number one, but it's really just about, like, that's a style of trade which has worked. So when that happens, you want to go back to the well. And the more it held 7 even, the better I liked it. So we had it first off to 7, but then it bounced a second time off of 7 even. And once that happened, you know, you're going to like the trade a little bit more, so we added to it. Because I was adding, I scalped out, which I wouldn't be as aggressive, but that's because I had added. Now we're back to the plan. Hold out for VWAP. We get it. We get it. If it doesn't get there, it can't be a loser. I was stopping out underneath 95, but now my stop is at evens. So it's held 7. My stop is now exactly at 7. We did get it. We had to stop out on the reload of Tesla. We got back out in because it was a wick bottom. I want to hold for VWAP now. So breaking VWAP and holding for 190 is the way I want to play this. So we're just trying to stick to the pattern. ARM could be, if you're, I mean, Tesla's going to be okay. Obviously, Intel worked initially on the short, but I got a reload on ARM here. And this can't hold 100.5. I'm jumping out because all of a sudden the market's looking a little bit stronger than before. So the aggressive short early, and then we had a reload. But if it gets above 150, I think 103 is reasonable. I like that short at 103, so I'd have to get out of this trade and get back into a new one. Dara? No?
Sorry about that. This came out here just after 10, so new catalyst here for Boeing. BA receiving a $178 million contract from the U.S. Air Force to produce 7 aircraft and provide training and support. So nice move up here for BA on that news, guys. Keep an eye.
Boeing, go trader alert. Number 3, Palantir. What's up, Big Patty? Everybody there that's on this Palantir and on the sticky note going tres up right now. As there goes Palantir, man. We just get that nice fill on that upside there. Long 22.57 right now. We almost nailed. I mean, we did nail the bottom. We have the bottom, but as was written on here, good level there. 50s. Tesla, just a quick little update on Tesla's. Apple still $3 in the money. That's going to be my pride and joy today is going to be Apple. But Tesla could really get going, but we just did exactly what we said we would do. Spin it. Sharif sent me a video, and a shout out to Good Vibes Sharif, although that was his name the other way. He sent me a video back, I think it was 4 years ago, where I was talking to somebody in the chat who wanted me to spin the money. And that individual was Sharif. So that was pretty cool because I was like, who's this Gobriel guy? Sharif Gobriel. And then he sent me it in the message that he texted me over the weekend that he had found that clip. So that was pretty cool for that one.
Because
so,
we thought it was.
Yeah, we thought it was one of our old
There's
friends.
a famous there's a former trader with the same last name that traded on our trading floor. It'll be traded on our trading floor. He was here at head office. Infamous at times. There's some stories that are fun with him that are probably better for a podcast than this. But yeah, we love that. We love the fact that Sharif came from, just being any other viewer of the show, which you guys are all fantastic, to wanting to trade here. Next thing you know, he's sitting behind us with the gun show going on, and then now he's teaching lessons every single day. He's going to be talking about gap and go. That said, Tesla gapped, but it didn't really go yet. Is the key. So the gap and go usually would be you make that move and you break out the high. But we're still in the pocket. Really, it's holding on to support. All it has to do is crack VWAP, then hold some higher lows. It's still same bottom, lower highs. And if that happens, I'm not reloading 185 a third time. I think we gotta, there's no we. I think I am going to back away from reloading it a third time. I'd rather be, it's weird to say, but I would rather buy this higher if it starts holding VWAP than try to go into the same level on the long. I just feel like that's a little bit dangerous there. Meta making some power moves, but I wanted to check in on Boeing because Boeing going up is always worth celebrating because they stink. The 172 level was a big one. Just want to see if it's anywhere within it. 172 is still the big breakout level for Boeing. If it gets there, I think you can really fly. Pun intended, actually. Let's be real. I like that pun. So 172 is a key price. It failed it, but that's a pre-market failure of that price. Come to the chart. Like, that's all pre-market, then it dumped. I still think the 172, it hasn't really been tested much off the open. So go Boeing, but if it doesn't get there, I don't trade it. Intel, if you're short something, it should be this. It's down 2%. It just curled at VWAP. I mean, like, what more can I say? It's trending to the downside, but 31 could be support on Intel. So I'm going to get bids back out in front of that.
Like, it's only 10:11, and we are having a day. Like, I looked down, I was like, oh my God, we must almost be done. Not even close right now. This Tesla has a lot of freaking room to go right now, and we're decently loaded up here off the 185. So again, I keep on talking about Palantir 2250, but we wrote down Tesla 185, and we have it once, twice, thrice. So here it goes, right up to VWAP. This is that move that we had thought potentially could happen, but unfortunately, ifs and buts, but we still have over half of the position from that bottom as we get back into some of these levels. Right now, 187.50 and change. Next stop, like, I really, really want to see this like 190 again. So I'm going to put an offer up near 190. I don't think that's unreasonable to get that level. So we're going to go 188, 189. Let's go 189.79 or so, as that's a decent year. We'll see if that can get filled up $2 more higher, and then man, oh man, will we be cooking right now. Apple at the day's high. I mean, this one, yeah, this is working as well as there goes Apple. But again, the market's made a huge move back. We talked about 17.8 is where we really wanted to put some shares on. Fortunately, we didn't get that low, so we're not into the futures or anything like that. But are we cooking right now or what? It is a fruit salad kind of a Monday. Go get your fruit salads, man. You get pineapples in there. You get mangoes. You get those strawberries flashing across the screen. You have whatever you want today. This is a fruit salad Monday. You treat yourself, everybody, to whatever you want today. Congratulations to everybody who's been trading today. You deserve it. Go out and get yourself whatever you want. There it is. Buy yourself a nice, as Jim Cramer says, buy yourself a nice little sweater. Buy or mean something, send it in here. Do whatever. Buy something for somebody and get it in here ASAP. Today, bang! Unless you're I love you, my wife, but you can buy something as well. Let's drop some of this down. As there it goes, Neil, it's a 1, a 2,
Bye-bye.
a $3 winner for both Tesla and Apple right there. So let's go, man. We're near the high of the day, Neil. This has been a beauty of a day for some specific names.
It's probably the the best day for momentum, I'd say, because you had it in every direction. You had it on every stock you could want.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was Tesla, whether it was Apple, SoFi. Well, I mean, I'm not happy with SoFi in a general sense, but SoFi off $7 has been a great bounce play. Unfortunately, it's not a good thing for the stock. As a shareholder, I'm right back to where I was when I started because this is exactly the price I'm long. My personal account, like I don't know, I think it's like 711 or something like that. It doesn't really matter. But even to the south side, I liked one thing short, and it was a big one, but we did miss an opportunity on Intel, and I've said this, I'll say it again. Sitting short in Intel in the pre-market makes sense. I did exactly the same thing that we saw before, like look at this flush. So I'm always looking to get better, and we're always short this one on lower highs every single day. It seems like that's all we're doing, but it's still going to be working out here. Tesla 185 was the first thing I wrote, and that's the first place we bought that sucker. We waited for it. I didn't want to chase it. One of the things we mentioned was whatever the normal range is on Tesla, double or triple it. So when it was trading at 190s, just waited for the 185 level. You can see it hold the line down there pretty well, at least for now. So let's see how far this bad boy wants to go. We're not going to get that Coinbase trade at 240, but if I'm watching crypto stay weak, maybe we got to look at the pre-market tops there for Coinbase. I want to see some other things short, just in case all this euphoria stops at Friday's highs and the market cannot stay green. I'd like to be short something that isn't just Intel.
Yeah, that is true. You always want to try to spread a little bit of risk out here on some other names. So, on that, with that being said, you know, I still want to make sure that we can find the right names here to get back into. We did definitely identify, of course, a Palantir, which has been fantastic. Now 20 cents in the money, but again, in an effort to potentially look elsewhere, let's try to do that right now. Oh, Marissa may do roasted cauliflower tonight. Booyah. Booyah on that one. So should be nice. But if there are any remain, there should be some leftovers coming through. Okay, 190 and change. I mean, the kids, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully there's some leftovers. I'll figure out the sauce. I'm going to ask her what the sauce is. She always makes like either some kind of a curry or something like that, but we'll see what's going to be involved there.
You know what's not bad?
Roasted cauliflower.
I like when you do cauliflower with like buffalo.
Yes, that's, let me see if that's what
I'm a pretty big fan of those. Like I don't like cauliflower unless you do it sort of like with a really good flavor and sauce, like something a little bit strong. So buffalo for me is the way to go. But Snapchat apparently is still good. Yeah, we were like, this is one we liked on Friday. If I had realized, I didn't realize this dipped into the 14 again. It was 14 and go on Friday. It's 14 and go again today. And we said this could be the case. Big earnings names with big moves. You look day 2, day 3, and it's just as good as day 1. So there's your dip. It goes to exactly, well, 14.03 is pretty much exactly $14 in my books, and it has a chance to test this high. I don't want to take a breakout on the stock. 15's been resistance. But if you're looking for the pattern up, VWAP sits at just underneath 14.5. So joining the party would be about there. On SoFi. We'll let it get back in. SoFi, we did take, I'm out of like 75% of SoFi. It just broke the trend right in there, so we took some out. I don't like reloading at the same price on an SSR bounce because the stock's down 10% for a reason, because they don't like the report. So I will not be reloading this. It can't turn into a loser, but I'm not looking to reload at the $7 level just to be
oh my God.
Clear there.
Okay, so about the buffalo sauce, it got leveled up. That's that buffalo sauce. This is with tahini halloumi. Do you even know what halloumi is?
I do not know.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Neil. It's with tahini halloumi, pine nuts, and pomegranate. Okay, this show is done. I'll be back. No, wow. Okay. That should be really, really exciting. Yeah, halloumi is a cheese. It is. Oh my God. Darn. All right, we're excited for that one, but let's go on to trading right now. Thank you, Marissa, for that update. That's dangerous. Danger. That's you know you got a good one when that's what's going on right there. Okay, so ARM is back to 100. In the attempt to potentially short something now because we're only long. And you know what? I'm actually looking at 187.75. This is kind of hung around here a little bit. to the upside on Tesla. So let's see if now we can, okay, here we go. I was gonna say, let's see now if we can start to break a little bit here on Tesla, back up to the upside. Man, our net is absolutely Sailor Mooning right now as we continue to go to the upside with some of these plays. Good trade there, 350 now, plus on Tesla. Apple's the one that's coming back in a little bit. We have less than 10%, but in and around that level, something like 7 or 8% left of this Apple trade as it's falling back in. But honestly, the only thing that real matters to this one right here is this level. Well, Ramin's coming for dinner. So shout out, what's up to Molfar? You can't come today. We're gonna have Ramin, and then we'll start to open it up to viewers. To come to my house for dinner. But yeah, right here, 188.50 coming through at some point there for Tesla could be a decent spot as it's really, I almost think there's like, it almost is acting like there was some news here. Moving around quite a bit right now is TSL to the A.
Yeah, it just made a bit of a left turn. I hate the fact that it's doing this on exactly the same trend. So look, obviously the long's been good, but if you were just look at the last two peaks, like it just needs to break 188.5, and you've broken this downward trend since the open. So with this, it's either 185, show me strength, hold VWAP, break it out, and we look for more longs. Apple is at VWAP. Never check that. Apple's beneath VWAP actually, underneath 175. All right, I'm waiting for either 174 or right back above. It's got to either hold VWAP, get back above, or I wait for 174. Tesla looking strong. Intel's fine. It's SoFi that just made a bit of a bounce off 710. All right, I'm going to get on the offer in front of that 720 level again on SoFi. It just feels like there's still a little bit of weakness to that name. Intel, still kind of cruising. It just tagged VWAP. I scalped some out at 3120. Do we go how many times you go to this well? I feel like it has to be less when you get higher lows. So we've put in a couple of higher lows here. If it goes to the same 3140 level, I always say caution if you're shorting the exact same level and it's showing you trend into that level, then at some point you want to back off and just respect the fact that, hey, that's great, it's working for you, but higher lows when you're short can mean some trouble. So I don't know if I reload this one a third time, especially with the market looking a little bit strong. We'll ride Tesla and SoFi for now and just be patient as we go back to Adara for the small cap recap.
This is a throw with regards to Tesla. Seeing a couple Tesla headlines circulating on social media right now in terms of that move we just had. One of them is that Tesla has filed its definitive proxy statement, so that means that voting can begin for Tesla's 2024 shareholder meeting. The other story, this initially came out earlier but currently circulating pretty heavily on social media right now, is the Supreme Court has declined to hear Elon Musk's bid to throw out part of a securities fraud settlement with the SEC that restricts Elon's public statements about Tesla. So a couple notes there coming. The main one seeming to be that Supreme Court declined to hear Elon Musk's attempt to throw out part of the securities fraud settlement that would restrict Elon Musk's statements about Tesla from the SEC.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you there, Adara. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm still having a hard time hearing Adara, so I'll get that figured out. And it must be one of my settings in Unity. But we did take some more out there on Palantir. So let's go, man. We are, I mean, despite the market, although the market's up right now, not like really up on the day. It's pretty flat since it's up from Friday, but on the day it's kind of where we opened up, even a little bit lower since we opened up near at those highs, but now it's trying to get it back going to the upside here. So we've only been 3 names long, and they're going to be PL 1, 2, 3. Apple, no, I don't think Palantir yet actually. Apple, huge trade. Tesla, obviously both Neil and I have this level, so that's going to be a big one as well. And then Palantir, which, you know, wasn't as confident about this name, but would have liked to get more shares. I actually had more sitting there near 50, but still a decent trade. And we have 3 reloads and all the way to the upside, it's pretty decent. Problem is we got out too much here in and around 70s when we were like, oh my God, we're like 10 cents in the money. But it's a good out. Went right to the 200, right to VWAP, right to the 200, right to the 50. It's been a good one for sure so far today. So yeah, we'll continue to, you know, continue to be happy with the performance, but always looking for a little bit more. I think it might be time to flip over into that chip game and potentially start to look at some of those when we get back. We had to look at ARM, but Tesla's a little bothering me because it's not getting above this 188-ish area. So I'm debating getting another piece out of Tesla. And with this move down, I think we will try to do that up at 187.50. So, all right, back over to the screen here with the Adair as the market's coming in a bit.
Russell 2000 looking stronger than both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 as of right now today, up more than 0.5%, although, again, falling back a little bit, feeling the effects that are also hitting the S&P 500 and NASDAQ right now. Overall, nice look, though, for the IWM. Some small caps moving today include IBRX, this is Immunity Bio, initially running last week on some positive trial data, now getting a price target increase from Piper Sandler. Nice look for IBRX. We also have Mullen Automotive, MULN. This one does have a market cap of 20 million and about a 20% short float. They also announced that they're going to have they're eligible for HVIP incentives for EV trucks for its new trucks. So nice look there for MULN. Last but not least, Soleno Therapeutics, SLNO. This one's still very strong after receiving breakthrough therapy designation from the FDA for its Prader-Willi syndrome treatment. Also worth noting, they have a short float of about 9%, guys.
Ooh, we like short floats, but speaking of shorts, well, we'll get to SoFi in a second. I'm out of Tesla. It did that same thing. Lower highs, maybe we test the 185 again, and now that we're out of it, I wouldn't have reloaded down here if I didn't take profit, but because we're out of the position, I might give it one more shot to bounce off 185. It's just lower highs that was holding that trend line, which I drew and is now gone. Let me just do that and then hit save so it's there the next time we look at the stock. But yeah, taking profit when it broke that consolidation down. Again, trade your own style of trading. 185 bounce, it curled there. I'm taking the scalp trade on trend. And then the same thing the second time through, just trying to maintain profits. I took another leg out of SoFi. I'm now down to 20% of the position. It put in a higher low. At this point, I'm not stopping out at 7. If it curls off of 708, then I'm out if it breaks 708. I just happen to have 707 as a price because that's the last price that I bought. I was on the way back up. So it's kind of like that last in, first in, first out, right? So the last position is all I have left on SoFi at the 707. Still looking for the VWAP bounce play. Intel's chilling, but no breakdown in. This is where it's 10:30. You got to be patient. If something's still inside of the range that you like, you can take it again. If it's not, back off. Eventually, Amazon got to VWAP, but it did so without me. I got that fill 180.30. And then right in here, it broke underneath 180. I decided to tighten up the stop. I'll be frustrated. I mean, obviously, it's still actually it was a decent entry point. I think I was patient enough with it, but it'll be basically flat, small win, but it got to VWAP. So if you stuck to the plan better than I did, you definitely got the win on Amazon. It just felt a little bit weak to my estimation, and that's why we're out. So Tesla 185 for a third time. We'll see if it's a charm. But I'd like to see it actually bounce first. I don't think I'll just be sitting there in front of 185 this time. I'm going to give it a little bit of a chance to fall in and then bounce off at the level. It's the one price I wanted to buy this thing. And if it breaks it, I don't even have an obvious level outside of like 180 flat, pre-market lows. Like you don't really have much of anything else here on Tesla if it does fail that level.
Yeah, no, we just put, we're still in the money on it. We're still in the money $1 on that bottom, but we did give up that top. And we were talking about that, trying to pray for that move back up to the upside. But then once we broke VWAP, that was great out there. So 187.30 should have definitely been out. We're going to wait for 187 now, play back up to the 50 period. But we still have our outs if we break lower. We're not going to be super stubborn with it. We do only have 10% left of a lot of names. So one of them is Palantir. We just got 89s. There. So we'll hold the rest of Palantir. Maybe it's a little more than 10%, but we're going to hold on to this one, see if we can potentially get a move through 23 and then into the day's high that we wicked up early. And again, I feel like this is a name that I said the shorts and the longs both won. If you were thinking that, hey, Palantir was a little bit too excited early, up that 3% or 2.5%, it did fall all the way back in. And that's where we were able to, of course, take advantage of that. So we'll still hold out that we can get this going here on Palantir. But again, wouldn't surprise me if it does fade back inside just a little bit. Apple's the one that's come in for sure. This has not been a nice move back. That 176, if you look at this sometimes it's just like you're kind of just data mining it up here, but like maybe potentially up there at 177, there was some support. The resistance, the high of the day is 176. So I still feel like there was more room to climb there on Apple. But a pullback into the 200, we will reload that on Apple. We don't have anything. I mean, 176 didn't really give us a reason to pull it back. We were going to be more cautious if we got to 177. That was close enough, 176 and change. Pull back into this level is good for me, 173.70. Unless the market just absolutely collapses here, which it doesn't look like it's going to, although it feels, give me that feels with Tesla. But right now, Tesla and Apple, the two longs, we've only had 3 positions. Tesla long, Apple long, Palantir long, a couple times of each. But it's Tesla right now that is dropping well in, man. I mean, our stop is that 184.50. So, you know, we could wind up losing on this last position. We pretty much have the bottom of the day for Tesla. Will that continue to be the case? It's not looking like it.
Well, what's a little bit surprising to me, but I guess maybe we should have, I don't know, maybe SMCI should have been more on the radar, but it's up 2% breaking the highs. They report tomorrow, I believe, along with, I want to say it's Tuesday, but I'll double check it in a second. What's crazy is, like, I see Nvidia looking not that strong. AMD's kind of mixed. You already know about Intel. So for this to be breaking out, I'm a little bit skeptical, but it's squoze before. We all know that. I didn't want to get to another squeeze name. We talked about Mullen potentially making a run for a squeeze. I said if it can hold 410, I'd look for longs in Mullen because it does have that small float. You're at 380. It's already starting to look a little bit weak here. So after the open, there was one shot and then no buyers above 410. It's bottomed out. Needs to start holding VWAP, otherwise my attention is clearly going to have to go elsewhere. So Mullen, I'd say nothing burger. Tesla, it's at the 85 level now. It's showing signs of bouncing. So this is starting to look pretty solid. This would be a higher low if it holds 185 quarter, which is what it's doing right now. I do like higher lows. So a bit of a curl here happening off the quarter. I'm going to work back into Tesla. Third time, maybe a charm here. SoFi is now back at the 720, but remember, there was sellers at 720 before. I've already taken some out in front. It needs to punch through, then we'll get that VWAP.
Yeah, let's get that third time's a charm for sure, hopefully, here on Tesla. As we'll go a couple more than that, but one more time, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself here. I am looking for a little bit of a dip bid right in here in for Tesla, but we haven't done the greatest on this. We still have half the position. We should have got some out there. We were really looking at these things with rose-colored glasses on. Again, we'll try one more here at 50, then I have a little bit lower, but so far, not really able to reload much on Tesla. Has to pull into 185.50. We're gonna go over to crypto update. Maybe when we get back, we'll have an answer one way or the other on Tesla 185.
Of course, we had Bitcoin ETF, a spot Bitcoin ETF approval in both the US and China earlier this year, or at least Hong Kong. Now Australia, according to this Bloomberg report, also looking to get these spot Bitcoin ETFs expected to be approved by 2024. Self-managed pension assets also could be part of what will be flowing, or part of the inflows into these potential new spot Bitcoin ETFs for Australia. So another country looking to get involved in the spot Bitcoin ETF movements that we have so far in 2024. In terms of Bitcoin itself right now, on its 4th straight day to the downside, we did have this wick a little bit lower here below 62,000, but right now we are decidedly above the 62,000 level, just below 62.8. We have Ethereum around just below 3,200. So nice look for Ethereum, down though about 4.5%. Solana down about 4%, Ripple down 1.5%, Dogecoin down 5%. All of these cryptocurrency related names very weak today, guys.
I mean, Google's making higher lows. Tesla's making the same one at 185. And we've already talked, Apple's trying to hold on to VWAP. That looks pretty solid. I mean, it dipped, didn't give 174. Once it was out, it's like either VWAP holds or the breakout price holds in terms of a setup for me. So the latter seems like it's still the case. If this can't get above VWAP, I don't love it as much. We almost never look at Microsoft lately. I feel like Microsoft's been a really boring stock, but today, look at the 400 level. Liquidity grab underneath 400 on Microsoft, and now it's stair-step to the upside. So you look left, or you look left and the market goes right. You look somewhere else, and all of a sudden Microsoft could be the one to go. I was so sure that this would be mostly an Apple story if we're leading higher, or like a Tesla story. But those things are pulling back, and suddenly you've got some names that are almost forgotten starting to lead the charge. That said, I'm not going to jump away from it. Until 85 is gone, then this is the level we like. So VWAP's at 187. That means offer in front of 187. And then if this trend breaks, you can see the 191, 192 level on Tesla. So let's get back into the upside, Tesla. I mean, it's been the party so far. I don't see any reason why it should stop now. Been a pretty strong one there. Yeah, let us know if there's anything else you guys are trading. We looked at a few small cap names, but the one that I might have gotten into, Mullen, seems like a nothing burger now. So I'm going to stay away from that.
All right, yeah, for Tesla to start to run up here would be pretty sweet. Like you guys, like I always hear Neil say this as well, we always talk about, you know, trading your own style. So again, we'll take more shares, get some out here on that bottom play of 185. We just took some out at 185, 60s or 70s, just taking 60 or 70 cents, 40 or 50 cents on this play. And then we'll see if we can get back up to the upside now. So we're just kind of getting rid of, I mean, we have to average in. So the fact that we're still getting out here are still like dollar plus winners on that piece. But now we got to deal with this last piece. So hopefully this will start to climb. We are now at the highest spot we've been at all day now with this Tesla move. So Palantir up at basically highs right now. I mean, despite its opening range, that's been a really good trade there. Out at 90, out another piece there at 85. Tesla's starting to work now, trying to go back $1. And then I'm going to wait for Apple down to 174, 175. What else do you guys want to talk about? What's Coinbase doing as we get to 63,000 here? And again, we talk about this all the time. Make sure you find and go help out realtrading.com as our #1 sponsor here. Go find it, the same platform as us, trade like us, trade with us, trade smart, not hard. And you want to talk about trading smart, I mean, it's almost like this sort of slogan there changed everything to how I'm trading now. 3 ideas that I've had today, and they're all the same ones that we built when we got into work. And that was, I mean, call this work is kind of, I don't, you know, when I came into the office, right here was, look at the 3 we have, Tesla, Apple, Palantir, right? AMD we've left alone for some reason, and Baba's nowhere near 74, but it was these plays right there that we're sticking with, and now you can see it's really resulted in, you know, a more focused style of trading, and I'm much more comfortable and happier with this one. Seaport Global, yeah, that's right. I just see Siri. I was just saying another thing about Siri because I know that Adara brought us this story that they were popping a little bit, but the volume's not doing anything. I was just
really
noted that it's potentially going to break this 315, 316 area. I mean, won't right to the downside right now. So I don't know. You know, again, as an investment, no, I don't think the business is that solid. But as a play, yeah. I mean, maybe you are breaking that bottom there. Yeah, because there is a short float. A decent one on that one. Almost $1 in the money right now with Tesla.
24.5% is a short float on Siri. Like that's,
yeah,
I mean, that's not a joke. But sorry, this ANVS, it just popped up here that it's halted down on a circuit breaker for like the 2nd time, down 15%. But the volume is really, really bad. So I was just checking out, see if there's anything there. The problem with squeeze names, it's not really a problem. It's just what you look for to have happen. If you want a stock to squeeze or short squeeze, you need to break resistance levels. I say this all the time. Like if it's not breaking this top at least at 18, if not like 330, there's not much to sink your teeth into, and that's why, you know, 5 million volume, not bad, but if it's not breaking the 30, I'm not that excited with Siri. Doesn't mean it won't happen, so I'm going to keep it up on the radar just in case. I just took some out of halfway into VWAP there on Tesla. Needs to break this trend. If you're above 188 and you're holding bids above there, then you've got a trend line break, and at that point, there can be a long that isn't the 185 level. But until then, it is 185 or bust on Tesla. SoFi, the SSR bounce plays, finally, okay, now it's back to the 20 level. Still some sellers at 20. I'll join. We just took some out. I just got instantly filled at the midpoint, so I guess that means there's some buyers at that price. But I'm still looking for the VWAP play here with $7 into VWAP is the plan. We have taken a bunch out before VWAP because it hasn't looked as strong as I would have liked. So bad earnings for SoFi, but it doesn't mean you can't ring the register with a specific trading strategy. It went 10% down. It held the even dollar level pretty much exactly with 700 as low of the day. And whoa, you got a dollar play here on this DNA stock. This looks a little bit spicy. DNA 30 million in volume. I don't know what the short float is on this stock, but it's always interesting to me when a stock holds above $1. So if it pulls back in, there wasn't a lot of support here before, but it's VWAP now at 102. So if this thing were to dip back in, I like the volume. I mean, the liquidity looks fantastic on it. It's not like it's thin or big spread. So DNA is on the radar, maybe for a VWAP bounce play on a small capper that could go. Still just same positions on. Intel's working short. SoFi, and then Tesla needs to break 188 to get that trend break to the upside.
Yeah, let's go Tesla. I am waiting there this time at 180. I mean, we've done really well off of this 185, man. Like we said, this is basically 3 times dipped, 3 times bought, and every time worked. The last time shallower than the first. So that's what's making me a little nervous as the 200 periods up here at 188. We should probably just put one at 188 and just call it a day. Right now. Let me put that 188 flat, basically. If we're able to get that, that'd be pretty cool. And then we'll see if that does hit. So 188 for Tesla incoming. We only have 10%, less than 10% now of Palantir, as that's coming back in a little bit. And we're waiting for Apple 174 right now to come through as well. So that should be interesting. Apple 174. If that gets down there, we'll like that one for sure. Check in on the biggest and the baddest of the Chinese names that we've been pumping for a minute. Not pumping, but talking about it. And that's Alibaba. You know, we're long in our own account down there in the 171-ish, 71 area, maybe going to 171. But Alibaba nicely done off that bottom. Whoa. $75 today. Great level there. We wrote down 74, hoping that it would collapse. But the market did make a nice move, but it was such a strong one into it that the fade out wasn't actually that dramatic after all. So for right now, we're just going to hold out. We do have a great position, I feel like, anyways, with Tesla. That one should continue to work. Pan W, I think, was smoking.
Go Pan W
as well. Yeah, we definitely had talked about this one. Shout out to my guy Chris Brecher, who keeps giving me credit for this. But Pan W just continues to work. Not huge, not great at all, but still not too bad.
It's not that good.
No, it's not that good at all, but it's still okay. We like Pan W. And then Nike, of course, is another play that we're trying to watch in and around that $90 mark. Now down to 94, but again, trying to hold out. I want to see, wasn't that bottom 88 or so off earnings? But we still do like that play as well. Come on, Tesla, man. It's another $2 cash cow there for Tesla. Congratulations, everybody that has just kept on reloading there off that 185. It's naturally going to be number 2, I guess, P&L stock here today. So added together. All right, let's go back over, well, pending, I guess. This name could really rip right now. I don't think we're done on Tesla. I'm going to wait for 188. I know you have your out around 190 you mentioned, or?
I want a high of the day.
A high of the day, yeah.
Like 192 is the high of the day.
I'm going to try to get in and out of a few of these shares before then. I do have an offer at 188 and then nothing else after that. Let's see if we can really get going here, Tesla. 188 and change. We'll see if we can get it, but over to the screen now with Adara.
Quite a few sectors with some a bit of a positive tilt to them. We have some strength in health technology, finance pretty strong, producer manufacturing, lots of strength as well. Process industries, communications pretty strong across the board. Utilities also really green. So quite a few decidedly strong sectors. Retail trade a bit more mixed. Amazon to the upside, but you do have some weakness in Costco and Target. So that is an interesting one to watch out for sure. We also have a lot of weakness here in this technology services sector across the board. Meta, Google, Microsoft all weak after their earnings last week. Oracle, Netflix also to the downside as well. So very few upside in this technology services sector. Electronic technology worth noting as well. Apple to the upside after reports of continued AI discussions with OpenAI and also an upgrade from Bernstein. But a lot of these chip names weaker ahead of some big reports for chips this week. AMD and Qualcomm among the names set to report. So as always, chips are definitely going to be in watch heading into the rest of the week, guys.
Tesla's now at 188, so there it is. This will be that trend line break.
Jeez.
So as long as you hold it, if you hold a bid at VWAP, that's breaking the trend on Tesla. So it needs to go now. I haven't strayed away from buying 185, but the only way it happens is if we break this trend and hold above it. So when that's the case, we're going to try to add to it. There's another name that's going to be breaking out a little bit here. That's going to be Alibaba above VWAP. So this has been a play where if it gets to our dip price, we buy it. It never got to 75. That was the price on Friday. Never got there today. Now we like VWAP here. So if Alibaba sees VWAP and holds it, we're back into that party. Randy, appreciate it. I'm just using this to heat up.
Yeah, this is a big
Really.
one. Hopefully they're still hot. Randy, we are absolutely leveling Tesla today. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Look at these dip buys at 185. Look where we are right now. Starting to rip up higher, higher, higher. And it's been a print factory over here. Next time is brisket time. Yeah, it's not. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. This is, tell everybody what level this says. Tesla, what does it say, Randy?
Oh, baby. We got Apple at 172.
Yep.
Tesla at 185.
Yeah, we're at 189.
Palantir at 22.
50.
Look at that.
Yep. Good so far. All right, back over to trading though, Randy. We'll get to you in a second. Thank you so much for the coffees, and maybe we'll have a nice little sort of powwow with Randy later about some of these automotive names. So check out Randy.
By the way, the chart of NIO looks so bad right now.
Oh man, look at Tesla, guys.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Yeah, I don't know, whatever you guys want to talk about, man. We already, in the beginning of the day, we talked about Tesla. Someone said, I think it was YZ said, oh God, now Sean's just going to be short Tesla all day. Nah, Tesla is now my #1 stock, only longs. We've gone short nothing today, absolutely nothing. It will be a very, very big day for me, probably my best morning of the month. And we are having a great month. So really happy with this one, man. We're really seeing the board well and nailing these things. So again, thank you everybody for watching and continuously supporting the show. We put a lot of work and effort into this every single day. So what you can do is make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. We have Gap and Go coming through. If Neil and I talk a little bit too fast, or you're like, man, how does Sean come up with this? Or how does Neil do that? You're going to be able to figure out more strategies. Find out what strategy works best for you. I give mine free every single day right here. But hopefully you'll learn something for yourself. And that's really the ultimate key. Understand where you make your money from. The rest will just fall into place.
Exactly. Like it's all about just trading strategy, entries, exits. Sometimes you might adjust when the market tells you something. Like obviously you're going to see if this market was breaking out the highs, we might have a little bit of a different approach with Tesla. The only reason that I've been taking profits that's shy of the pre-market highs because the market's essentially sold at the open and holding a lower high. Tesla's doing the same thing, but everything has changed if it holds VWAP here. Just like last time on this same move, come to my chart for a quick second there, just to give you an idea what my thoughts are on Tesla. It's the same as the second time we had this long. It holds a consolidation above. If it breaks down, I'm getting out under 187, and then we might go for a little 185 again. If it holds VWAP, I'll look to be a buyer off of VWAP if it starts bouncing there. Very similar to what I'd like to do on Alibaba. Intel's continuing to look weak, but it's still stair-step to the upside. I just took some out under VWAP at 25s. That bids at the low of the day, and then we'll work back into that one if it gets back up to that 3140 level. SoFi, continuously, every single time it fails 720, I get a little bit more out. And I said here, there's a seller at 720. It's not a ton of size on the offer. It's just that they're refreshing it every single time and selling a bunch in the midpoints in the dark. So if you're long off the 7 level, 720 has been it. Mr. Fabric.
What's up, Fabric?
First of all, I love the name. It's a little random, but we'll take it. Thank you. You made 20K. Let us know where it is. It could be anywhere. It could be Tesla, it could be Apple, SoFi. I mean, I don't know. You guys let us know. There's a lot of opportunity in this market today. And the best part about it is it's Monday, and we had like SoFi earnings this morning, and we got a lot of bigger things coming. I mean, when we talk about AMD, we'll be talking about, obviously, Apple, Amazon. But I think the big one this week, volatility-wise, could be SMCI. Like, I feel like we don't talk about that stock enough, and SMCI could go $100 in terms of a move. And that actually wouldn't even be that big, because that's just 10% on SMCI.
Yeah, nobody making 20K around here. That is a fantastic trade and a fantastic day. So congratulations to you for that. Some of those numbers that some of you guys put up are monstrous. So again, a big, big congrats. And I guess you could have easily done that if you had the confidence in Tesla and wanted to put some money down there. But for right now, the only thing that is left to do today for me is hold on to some of these trades. We're going to see Tesla moon, and I told you today was going to be special and that we chose violence with Tesla, and that's exactly what we did. But we're going to choose lunch as well. So what is for lunch, many of you say? Wrong button. There it is. Okay, today's a pretty good one. I mean, if you've been trading today, we'll go 3 for 3. So there are a couple chicken dinner winners on the market today, and there actually is one for lunch as well. Today should be okay. I mean, I've been a fan of this when they brought it through. We don't ever get it because we're on the lunch, the salad. So that means that some jerk chicken will probably be on our salad tomorrow. So tonight it's jerk chicken with Jamaican rice and sweet potatoes. So a little bit of rice and peas there, get some sweet potatoes going. The sweet potatoes should hopefully, for A over there, where's Miss A? The sweet potatoes should be like a nice little, counter to how spicy it is.
I have a small problem with that.
It won't be spicy though.
Rice and peas is not Jamaican rice.
It says Jamaican rice.
I know,
I said rice and peas.
I know, but it's going to be rice and peas, and it's just a West Indian thing. And I'm not just saying this because my family's Antiguan, but you hear a lot of stuff. It's like Jamaican, this Jamaican. No, it's just West Indian. Like all West Indians eat rice and peas. I don't know if you call it Jamaican rice and peas, but it is what it is. You can say Jamaican beef patties because that's more their thing. But come on now, Jamaican rice.
Hey, this is why I'm giving respect
rice
to
and
everybody.
peas, baby.
No, that's the thing. I didn't say Jamaican rice.
Bayesians eat it too. I mean, everybody eats it. It's all good. But it's all good in the hood. Wow.
Right, this is a big day.
Like the Nasdaq is under a little bit of pressure. I just want to note we've talked about Tesla and Apple. Obviously, they led the way, but Google's starting to give up VWAP here, and this is disappointing. A, because Alphabet had the big up move on earnings, and now you've got 2 straight days of essentially selling it off. I mean, like it's stair step down, hold, and then stair step down. If it follows the same pattern, like look at this, support turning into resistance on Google at 170. Yeah, like Alphabet kind of looks like a sell trying to fill in this gap, and I wish that wasn't the case, but that's what the chart's telling you. So if you're looking for some afternoon ideas, I do feel like Google might be on the other side if we roll this one over. Now, obviously, we like some Intel short, but let's get to the desk one more time with Adara.
Nice red candle to the downside here right now for the DXY, continuing to top and turn in that range we've seen since about mid to late April there, April 18th, basically 105.60 up into 106.20 area. So we're very much still stuck in that range. Only piece of economic data we got today was the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index for April. This coming in slightly lower than the previous number, negative 14.5 versus negative 14.4 previous. So slightly lower here, but the bigger numbers are going to be coming later in the week. Tomorrow we get Chicago PMI. And then we also on Wednesday get the JOLTS job openings. And on Wednesday we also have the FOMC meeting with a rate decision. We're not expecting any rate cuts there, but it is certainly going to be worth keeping an eye on, especially for Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments on Wednesday. On Friday as well, we get NFP. So more interesting data going to come later in the week. Also worth noting the Japanese yen absolutely on watch. Yesterday we had the Japanese yen have its first slide below 160 since 1990 and then have a sharp resurgence. Some people speculating this could be related to currency interference there. So here is the yen to the USD. Massive move down yesterday. Nice move to the upside today, guys.
Yeah, the USD, I mean, wow, it's been flying around, but actually today I wasn't paying too much attention to it, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at rates today. I can see Bitcoin on Sean's screen, otherwise I wouldn't have looked at Bitcoin at any point today. That's the only reason I even know Bitcoin's at 63,000 or under 65 is because I look over and I see it there. Because it's really just been sticking with kind of the ideas. You knew Tesla up 10% was going to be the one, and we traded at one level. Like one level, that's it. If you like 85, you wait for 85. Look, I like the pre-market highs up here. I do feel it has a chance to break it out. I did say there was one place I would short it. I don't know if we get there, but it was above 200 into 205 on the daily. We mentioned that, but didn't really show you the daily chart. It's possible. Like, I wouldn't write that off, that it's impossible we could see a test of the 200 level today. If that happens, maybe we get a VWAP dip. If it breaks out the high, I would look for some kind of a break and hold of the 192 level. But my offer is out in front of the high of the day. Once we get it, I will be out of the stock looking for the next trade. SoFi I'm going to be out at break even. I'm now down to about 12% of that position, so we've been scalping it out the entire way on that name. And you know what? Apple's finally starting to come back in here. So it's almost at VWAP. Nice little dip. Didn't really get to 174 where I like the breakout price, but it could be holding VWAP, which would be a great sign. I mean, if Apple holds VWAP and breaks back out, this NASDAQ should be able to get back into the high of the day. But needs some help from Apple, which has been kind of quiet for the second half of the morning.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. We're still $2 in the money. Apple will still be, well, yeah, I mean, Apple's still going to be my P&L #1, despite how many load ups we got on. Well, Tesla probably will be. Tesla will be, but Apple's still right there. We were able to do really well on this one. Luckily, we let it go all the way up to this 175.50. That was really key. Not that we did not do anything. We are waiting now for a reload here on Apple to come in. So hopefully it can come back into that 174. And that's a spot that I'm willing to look at this trade on Apple. So one more spot to come here on AAPL, and then we'll deal with it after that. So 174, hopefully a little bit of a dip buy. I'm the same way. If Tesla can get up to 190, 191 and change, we're going to get out of that. So it looks like that is starting to go. We said we'd look at some chip names. We haven't done too much of that here today. So let's have a quick look right now on some of these chip names. I mean, this is why. We had said 164 as a possible high spot for AMD. We're obviously getting nowhere near that. So that's not going to be happening. And then we did write down 158.50, which is where VWAP is. So I feel like that's been holding pretty good. But again, remember right off the open, we said like, oh my God, this market's coming in. And we're not sure that we really wanted to get too much involved with chip names. So I think we did pretty good. Now it's trying to give us this base. If we're going to stay short bias, which I'm not sure yet, because we're still long Tesla, we're still long Apple, we're long Palantir, then I think we're going to go over to this name, giving us a lot of areas to look out for. 160 and change, so on and so forth here with AMD, and then back in on Nvidia as well. Another one of those looks. Not doing much, but up to 875, a possible level for AMD. So yeah, a few things happening now, but
Look at this chart.
not like overly exciting to me right now.
Boeing doesn't even have, like, this is a 15-minute chart.
Boeing not moving either?
Oh, it's moving.
Oh, it's moving.
It doesn't have a red candle on a 15-minute chart. Like, this is really going. That 72 we're talking about is gone. We're at the highs. I'm not punching highs at 11 o'clock. That's just a general rule. I don't think it's the time that you want to be going long at the high of the day. But we're now in the zone where you consolidate here and go sideways. I like it above 172. I probably like it at VWAP as strong as it's been. But this is the reason. 172 was a brick wall. It did one little fake out on earnings above 72, but that was mostly pre-market. So this, I think it's rarefied air up here where you can hold the 72 bid and look for a push maybe into that earnings high. Up 3%. There was like a U.S. Air Force contract. That was like 178 million. I mean, like, it's not big, but as we were saying before, like with Boeing, any news that isn't bad news is good news. So the fact that there's no bad news today is probably good for the stock. And if there's no bad news tomorrow, that's also good for the stock. I like you, Boeing. Let's get back upside. I'd love to see it hold VWAP on any kind of a dip. Tesla's now starting to get into that 190. Oh, that's what it was. NIO, I forgot to mention. Look, NIO, like everything else, all the Chinese EV names, it gapped up. Tested big support at just in front of the 480 level. Failed it at the open. Failed VWAP. I think if we get a chance to short this at VWAP, this would be a name I like. So, kind of up on sympathy with the Tesla news. You had XPeng, Li Auto, all that good stuff. They were all strong. NIO finding its way back down to the lows. I think this can be a nice little scalp trade. I have 460 marked off, but that's essentially just VWAP. I need to get 58s or 59s, though, on NIO. SoFi will come out. I'm not giving it back to, I said I wouldn't give it back to 7 even. It kept on putting lower highs. That's 720. It just never broke. So it was a good long on SoFi. It'll be my number 2. Mostly that's all we're trading today was Tesla, SoFi, and we got some Intel still working short. But if it gets through $7 again, or it gets to $7 again, I'm not looking for another reload. That SSR bounce play is the first time it goes. After that, you can trade any way you like it, but when I'm looking for that SSR bounce, it's the first time and then the first time only.
Yeah, I'm not going to reload. We were just talking a little bit there about Palantir as well. I'm not going to reload this too much, guys. If it falls back in, it falls back in. We're just in our, basically our chilled out moments here, waiting to see if the market wants to go and which way it does want to go that way, if it wants to go that way. So I'm going to be pretty patient with this trade. The market's not doing a whole heck of a lot. We have the gap and go strategies. I'm interested to hear all about those. So that's coming with Adara and Sharif. That'll be up very, very shortly. In fact, in 1 minute. So I want to say a big thank you to every single person that continues to support us every single day. You can find Neil's trades early. You can see us all there on the board. We do have more Trader TV Live to be able to watch that. Let's freaking go right now, Tesla, man. I mean, this 185 level that sort of we had written down there was pretty cash. Just bounced off 190 with a little bit of a wick top. That might be some kind of an indicator right there. We are $5 right now in the money on Tesla. So I expect some big trades also coming on the midday show. If they can find something, we'll wait to see them. More about learning, more about education. That's what it's all about. I'm excited to hear about this as we get ready to go. I'm excited to see Adara's face if she tries that chicken. That should be a lot of fun as well. Maybe I'll bring her over a piece right there. You can have a lot of fun with Adara and I on the recap show tonight, so that should be a lot of fun. Plus, we had a great podcast.
You opened that can of worms, Adara.
Yeah. No, because the thing is that it's like my kids, they don't like spicy food, but then the more they try it, now they're like, oh man, this isn't that spicy anymore.
Exactly. You have to build into it.
You got to train your taste.
It's like anything else, right? Like you've got to work yourself into it. If you enjoy spicy food, then you have a little bit, and then have a little bit more, and then a little bit hotter, and you'll be good to go. But again, the flavor of the day is with Tesla. I think that continues. It's trying to pull back, but yeah, good moves on Tesla today. Hopefully we can get that 191. But let's get on over. Gap and go with the Professor and Adara.
Thank you very much, Neil and Sean. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show.